a fortune in dreams. That's how I measure my treasure of things. I'm never blue as long as I can pretend, and I wouldn't take $1,000,000 for the dreams that I spend. With only daydreams to keep me tonight, I get along and I'm doing all right. I haven't got a bank full, but I'm thankful to say I've got a fortune in dreams put away. I've got a fortune in dreams. Looking at a fortune in dreams. That's how I measure my treasure of things. And I never worry how things are gonna go. The sun was a come a shine, and even if it looked like a snow, with only daydreams to keep me tonight, I get along and I'm doing all right. I've learned to love the things in life that money cannot buy. That's why I've got the sun and not the clouds up in my sky. You're never gonna see me with my head hanging down, 'cause I can take the bad times when the good times ain't around. Now I haven't got a thing more, but I'm thankful to say I've got a fortune in dreams put away. I've got a fortune in dreams.
Okay, folks, that's I'm changing everything around because I have too many calls and everybody's telling me to change the podcast from Against All Odds to General Hospital, because all we're doing is talking about everybody who's sick and this and that, and we're not going to do that no more. What I'm going to do is I have thousands of pictures and I have thousands of stories. A lot I can't tell. I could, but I won't. But there's a bunch I could tell. So I'm going to put some pictures up, and then I'm going to talk about the story that was behind the picture, and then we're going to fool around. And anybody who, any of my friends that have a picture that they want put up and tell the story, this way we'll just have a variety of stuff, and we'll have some fun rather than talk about, I got 3 months to live and 4 months to live, and I got this, I got that, I got to go for all that stupid nonsense bullshit. That and for this half hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, I'll tell you this. There is no doubt in my mind, without music, I could never ever had gone through what I went through. Because after the races every night, I did what I had to do in the daytime. At night it was like me just sitting back and relaxing and recharging. It's like plugging me into a charger. I just got I forgot about everything, and I was ready for the next day, all because of music. So now I'm going to play a lot of music around here. That means I won't get monetized, which I don't care anyway. I think total since I've been doing this, I made about $60 in 3 years. So it's no big deal. And even if it was 6,000, I would do the same thing, because I really don't want to talk about doom and gloom anymore. I had enough. Thank God all Eddie's tests are pretty good. And anyway, that's it. So that's what we're going to do. Let me bring my friend on, Joe, Big Joe. And who is this?
Hey,
This is
everybody.
Eddie. And Eddie now, for some reason, is on 2 things.
You're a week late, Deloro.
What?
You're a week late.
Well, I went to bed. What do you want from me?
You, how come you're
No,
on
I'm talking about last week. You said you were coming. Where'd he go?
15. I'm trying to get this here.
What are you doing there, Eddie?
Trying to fix this. There you go. Now I'm good. See?
All right.
We're all right.
You know, you've been doing this. You've been doing this for. Did you hear the whole introduction? I'm changing the whole thing around so we don't talk about.
Music.
Huh?
You said, no, I didn't hear the introduction about.
Well, we're changing the whole thing around. No more talking about gloom and doom. No more of that.
No. That's totally bullshit. I don't like it. Listen, all right. I wanna clarify some things from last week's podcast.
If you don't want me to talk about you, you got to show up.
No. You see, I don't mind you talk about me when I'm here, you know. And well, I want to explain something to you. Okay.
So, who are you talking to?
He's talking to me.
To Larry?
Well, I talk
Me
to
too.
both of you. I'm talking to you.
All
All
right.
right, listen. The reason why I go to Finger Lakes now, I'm gonna see. You tell. I don't know why he goes to Finger Lakes. Blah, blah. This is it. It's easier competition, right or wrong. Okay. Now, when I got a 2-year-old or a horse that I need to either get them acclimated to running or training, and they don't proceed to go forward at this one track, just like you, Larry, and just like you, Joe, when you have a horse that you cannot get behind the gate, you cannot, you change equipment, they make breaks. So what do? So you leave Yonkers and you go to Monticello, which is a cheaper, easier track. Am I right or wrong so far? Do you understand where I'm coming from?
So far,
Now,
on your side of the coin, you're right so far. But there's another side, but go ahead.
now when you get to Monticello, what does the race secretary tell you? Okay, Larry, Joe, put a couple of lines on the horse, okay? So now you know if the horse qualifies, because qualifying time in Monticello back then or now, I don't know what it is, it was 2.5, Yonkers was 2.2. So, same thing with me. I have a maiden that I can't get either. I can't get, say, qualified to race at Saratoga or Belmont. I send them to Finger Lakes. But when I send them to Finger Lakes, I put them in a $32,000 maiden special weight and pick up 19,000 quick. Then I bring them back, or I keep them there for one more start, and I'm still eligible for 1X. Okay, that's the reason why I go to Finger Lakes. Okay. Now, the other thing is the reason why I claim off these top trainers is because they pay high prices for horses that does not meet their criteria. And so I feel that if I can get them 70% of what they're capable of doing, I will make some money. And not that they're stake horses or allowance horses, but they'll be high priced claimers. Okay. And so that's where I'm coming from. I'm not a great trainer. I know what I'm doing.
Don't say that.
No, no. I'm a good trainer.
I know you and your ability better than you know you and your ability.
No,
and I will get to that. You are in the game that you're in my opinion, you're a standout. So don't put yourself down. I got a couple of things I want to tell you that might change your mind, but in the meantime, what of all the trainers up at Saratoga, if I had a horse, I'd give him to you. Because I'm not.
Well, that's very good. You see,
and it's not because you're my friend. It's not because you're my friend, and it's not because you're good looking.
No, I'm not good looking. I'm over the fucking hill. Oh, excuse my language, but but there was something else I wanted to say that basically, Jesus, oh my, I'm getting like you, Larry, lose frame of thought. Well, anyway, I want to express that, training standardbreds and training thoroughbreds is totally, totally, totally different. Like you say, blinkers on, blinkers off. But yet you still have to have the ability to condition any horse to go forward and become halfway decent and go forward with them. I enjoy the game, and sometimes you do make bad claims. You don't always make good claims, and so you got to take the good with the bad.
All right.
But
so are you done now? Are you done?
Why?
I gotta say something.
Go ahead.
I gotta say the only reason I mentioned Finger Lakes is this. Let me just and this is my opinion. I went to Finger Lakes once. I got there very early because I didn't know, how long it would take me. So I got there early, put the horse in the receiving barn, and I went in the cafeteria. And I'm not saying they do that now. I'm telling you what I went through. In the cafeteria, there were tables of 8 all around the place, all with programs, all with pencils. Okay, them guys up there make less than 1/10 of what these guys make down here.
Yeah,
there's a serious reason why the best rider up there ever and the leading rider all the time left. He didn't leave because he wanted to leave. He left, and that's as much as I'm going to say. And I witnessed firsthand what went around. And then after the race, I stayed there. I stayed overnight, and I got the whole layout. The whole layout is exactly like every other small racetrack. Now, if you were the jockey and you were the trainer and the owner, then go to Finger Lakes, and everything that you said applies. You're right. Where you're not going to get 5 cents in Saratoga, you can get 19,000 up there. You could also get caught in one of them set-up jobs.
You can get caught in the last race of Monticello.
And there's a few of them there. And that's why I said you work too fucking hard for too many years to let some fucking 100-pound fucking jockey stick it up your ass. And that's exactly the way I feel about it. And you have
so far, to be honest with you, I've been going up to Finger Lakes for, I would say, 5 years. And I got really in with one of the best and the most honorable trainer up there, Mike Ferrara Sr., who was 80, your age. He was Mr. America back when he was young, or whatever the hell he was. But me and him he's old school. And we have such a relationship, a rapport that is totally, totally great. Because anything I sent to him, I sent the horse that was bought up there. I went 7 in a row up there. He was 8 years old, and he broke the track record that stood for I don't know how many years. But everything that we send or he sends to me, we always communicate. And I have never got screwed except the one time I sent a horse up there, and then I told Mike to tell the jockey if he don't want to ride him, we'll definitely put another jockey that will ride him. And he said, fine, fine, fine. And he went to the gate and he scratched the horse. And that was the only time I got screwed. But otherwise, I use Kibar Koa and I use Louis Perez. So
all right, here, let me just say this, and then we can get off this game. Let me just say this. I say what I say because I've been through it. I didn't have a guy like Ferrer up there. I went up there all by myself, and I see what happens up there. The same thing happens there as happened in Green Mountain and Law and every racetrack. So
it's all wicked.
Yeah, you work. You're too old and you work too hard. And in my opinion, if you have a maiden that can't do where your home base is, get rid of them. They sell them to somebody in Finger Lakes. You work too fucking hard.
I did. I sent two up there, and I sold them both for $3,500.
So me and you were on the same page. I'm just saying that I would never, after I learned, and that's why I said it. There's one pro and 100 cons for racing from New York, from Belmont to Finger Lakes. I would never. That to me is like somebody with a top stable at the Meadowlands shipping to Green Mountain. That's exactly what it's like. I mean, one is a, if you take 3 zeros off the earnings of the jockeys down here, take 3 zeros off. That's what they earn up there. Okay, we don't have to go. Look, I know one thing. I would never, ever, ever in a million years ask anybody I know to give you a horse or buy you a horse, and I'm working on somebody else too right now, if I didn't think that you were not only qualified, but the best that's going to be at the Belmont. And I really believe that. I really believe that. And I don't give a fuck who comes on. You can get the top guys, and I'll put them up against you. That's all.
I appreciate the compliments. I really do. And I always said this, and I take this to the bank, that you are or were or whatever one of the best trainers that I hey, listen, when a top class man like Stanley Dancer could not do anything with that horse Neverly Leader, and he sent him to you with 2 bow tendons.
How'd you know that?
What the fuck? I was right near you. I was with you. Like, Jesus, Mary.
You were living in my...
Andy Beleza was the owner. Jeez, I know your whole story.
No. Stanley Dancer gave me the horse.
Yes.
He's 4 years old. I tried him as a 2-year-old. He bowed a tendon. I tried him at 3. He bowed the other tendon. He has two tendons. So me, Stanley, and Charles Slutsky were out to lunch, and Charles Slutsky, who owned Monticello Raceway and the Neverly Hotel, he owned one of them horses. He always had 5-10 horses with, including Neverly Pride, Neverly Leader, and all of that. So. He says, I says, listen, before you put him in a sale, if you want, I'll tell you. He says, you can have the horse. He says, you have the horse. And if you can't do no with him, you put him in a sale, whatever you get. He says, but he's a real nice horse. I says, don't worry. He's not going to get abused. He's not going to get abused. And they gave me the horse. And then I did what I did. And 2 months later, I went over to, it was in Pompano. I was on the racetrack side. He was on the training side. He had his own barn there. And I walked over to him. I said, Stanley, I says, are you going to be here? I don't know what day it was, Monday morning or Tuesday morning. And he says, yeah, why? I says, that horse, Neverly Leader, I put him in a qualifier. I'd like you to drive him. And just keeping this in mind, I wouldn't cross the street here if he wasn't good. He says, why don't you drive him? He says, why don't you drive him? Make like a comeback. We're trying to help you. I says, my name will be down as trainer. That's okay. I have more of a shot of me being down as a trainer. It means more to me, and having a guy like you, a Hall of Famer, the main man in harness racing, driving for me. And everybody's saying, what the fuck is Stanley driving for Larry Rolla for? That's 1,000 times better than me driving myself.
Yeah.
So that's how that happened. And after that race, Stanley drove him for me in there. He won 3 in a row plus the qualifier.
Yeah.
And when I come back to Monticello, I sold him to Andy Beleza for $100,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went to give Stanley the money, and he says, that's yours. I went to Charles to give him the money. He says, that's yours. So I made almost $100,000 in purse money, and I made $100,000 because they let me keep the money.
He never went the mile, did he, Larry, at Meadowlands?
Who?
Never Lee.
Yeah, I had him at the Meadowlands. That's when I shipped to them. Listen to this story. And the guy I'm going to talk about is listening right now, and he's my good friend, and he's a smart, sharp guy. I was sitting in the track kitchen at the Meadowlands. Neville leader was, I had a race pinpointed for him because whenever Stanley drove me, he went in hand. He just went in hand. He just for fun. So I had a race where I was going to make a major score, because don't forget now, from having nothing, because I just got my license back thanks to Stanley and them. From having nothing, I have Neville leader, 2 boat tendons, this, that, and everything. And so we were in a track kitchen one morning, and I was going to put them in to go. The race was they were going to draw that morning, and all my grooms were sitting there, and the track was muddy and it was raining out, and I says, look, guys, just go clean the stalls, and that's it. They're off today. No, especially Neville leader, 2 boat tendons. He ain't going out there. So he everybody said, so we're sitting here and everything. And who comes walking in but my good friend and a very good trainer and a very sharp guy. One of the sharpest guys I know, by the way. And he's full of mud. So who's sitting next to me but Andy Beleza, the guy who sold the horse there for $100,000. So he says, is this a private party? And I said, no, you sit down. So somebody says, you went out today? He says, yeah, it ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. All you fucking guys, all you guys. So anyway, I don't say nothing because he's a good guy, sharp guy, good trainer, sharp, very, very, one of the sharpest guys in the whole game.
Who is
he? And not
Harry Palmieri.
He revolutionized the game with all his speed race. Every major stake race, every record is done on his bike, and all the guys, including O'Donnell, when he shipped around, he wanted his bike. That's how good.
Kurt Watson.
Good Kurt Watson was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kurt.
So anyway, I go after we leave. We sitting there about an hour or so, and after we leave, I go to the barn and I'm just making sure everything's okay and everybody can go home. And the fucking Neville leader is on the racetrack. So my brother came in with Neville leader. I says, Peter, who the fuck told you to take this horse out? 2 fucking boat tendons. I worked for 6 fucking months every day to get this horse, and you got to take him out. For what reason? There's no reason. He says, well, Andy came, the owner, Andy Beleza, and told me to jog him. I says, he did. Okay. So I had 7 horses for Andy Beleza. Now, this is a true story because Kurt Watson's watching. He can make a comment or whatever. Kurt Watson's watching. Kurt Watson's. So what I did was I says, Peter, clean them all up. Put them, when it's all done, put them away. Take every one of Andy Belleza's horses and bring them to his barn. So he had 7, I think. I think he had 7. He takes them to the barn. He says, there's no stalls. I says, you know that pole that goes across the front of the thing? Tie them all to the pole and then have somebody pull it. And that's what I did. So Andy Beleza ceased to be my owner right from that day on. And Kurt Watson took the horses and did a hell of a job, did a real good job. And I didn't think he'd do much good with two of the horses that I had, but he did. He did. It was tough. Probably, I don't want to give myself no credit, but it's a lot tougher to get a two fresh bow tendon horse to the races than it is to keep him there once he's there. So
Yeah.
I need you, and I can't go to your barn and say, and I can't and I won't, and it's not right anyway. It's none of my fucking business. But I need you to succeed because you're a good guy and you're a good friend and you're fucking 80 years old and you're sick. And I need you to. So I drop these little fucking hints. I really don't like if you have a horse that has to go to Finger Lakes, sell him. Don't just sell him. And because the claiming game is hard enough. Because if you got to hope that you get lucky with a minimum of 1 out of 3 claims, and you don't need no fucking bullshit horses that you have to ship 100 fucking miles. And the only way I would do that is that if I had my own, if I was close enough to a jockey that would take off his mounts in Saratoga and go up there with it. You got to bring your own jockey. You got to bring your own jockey and give him a fucking slingshot. If anybody approaches him, just hit him in the fucking.
I found that out in Parks.
All right, so yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So,
That's a click in itself. You go there without a jock, you're already in the back seat.
Yeah, I was at Parks. I got my license at Parks. I witnessed all of that. In fact, I cashed a good bet because of that. And Parks it's treacherous. And the reason I got out of the business was because I got very friendly with a Spanish guy, and they were all Spanish up there. Almost 90% of it is Spanish. They have these fucking drugs, synthesized drugs, that do any fuck. It's unbelievable. It's unfucking believable what they could do. I had the one horse I had. When I got him, he was just in bad shape. But I got him because of the back class. I got the sheets and I looked for the back class on the horse. Because if a horse is, I think he was 7 or 8 years old. If a horse has back class and he's relatively he's not gutless. He wants to race, he just can't because of certain ailments. That's the horse I want. And that's how I did good all the years. But the years I did good were prior to Epigen, Equipoise, all of that kind of shit. Shit where I never forget the first stuff that come over from Japan. The fucking horse come off, ripped his fucking from the ankle, from the ankle down. It come flying off in the first turn, and the fucking horse didn't even pull himself up. The jockey pulled him up. He kept going. He just wanted to go. And back in them days, from Japan, with these little red balls that was going to stop him from bleeding.
Yopan.
Everybody had all of that shit.
I remember them things.
Yeah,
I got it. I got a box here.
Oh, good.
The little green box with the brown bottle.
Yeah.
I think they
with the red pill, with the red pill inside.
Yeah,
there was nothing in that game that escaped me.
We used to go to Chinatown and buy them.
Yeah.
I worked from morning till night. I never left the barn area. As soon as I was done every morning, I either helped Joe DeLeo, Dr. Carter, Brennan. I helped them all, and whenever they didn't. Later on, when all the vets, like Dr. Nolan, he took over Dr. Steele's play, and he took over all doctors. Dr. Steele wound up going to Florida and dealing with all the equestrian horses. And he called up one day. He called Joe one day. And he says to Joe, he says, get out of there. He says, come down here. He says, what do you get to inject a set of hocks? He says, $150. He says, you know what I get? $1,000 a hock. And they pay. His clients are Michael Bloomberg, all billionaires. They don't even see the bill. And a couple of guys went there. But Nolan had so much business here DeLeo wound up dying. Brennan, what the hell is his name? He retired. He went with his girlfriend, my dear friend, to I think Pennsylvania, someplace. I don't even know. But anyway, I pay very, very close attention. It's really sad. It's really sad that what happened to me happened, because I really, the only thing I ever wanted to do was race horses. I got myself in such a fucking jackpot that now that it's over and done with, and I see the fucking guys that are in the Hall of Fame, that it's not right that me, you, Joe, and Billy Parker are not in the Hall of Fame. I saw Billy Parker today.
Billy's not in the Hall of Fame, really?
No, I don't think so, because I told him, I says, I'm going to start a petition that you got to get in the Hall of Fame. Leading driver wherever he went for the last 50 years. And I told him, and he started laughing. Now, when I went up there, I had Tom with me. When I went up there, and I was in the paddock with the horse that I was going to.
Who drove the horse, by the way?
I don't even know. I think he has a son. I don't know. I was too busy paying attention.
Oh, okay.
But he did come over to me, and we started talking. I introduced him to Tom, and he came up. He says, and I introduced him nice. I says, this guy should be in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the best. And he did me a big favor, because the horse I asked him to drive for me finished last every week, and he didn't abuse him because he was my friend's wife's horse. And here's the leading driver finishing last every week with the same horse, and he's the leading driver. But he did it until one day, the day when Gandolfini come over with his father.
Yeah.
Then his father, you all know the story about his father. I had to drive up there on a Friday and say, Billy, this horse got to win. And I said this right in front of Todd. And Billy says to me, what are you, fucking crazy? He's finishing this. You're lucky he's not on the qualifying list. Every week I make an excuse for him. The hobble fell, the knee boot dropped, this dropped, that. Now I says, I don't want to say too much, but the horse won. I said, you do whatever you have to do to win. I says, I'll put it to you this way. If I was in your shoes, the horse would win. And I'm not saying I'm a better driver than you. I'm just saying I'm probably a better choreographer than you. So this horse got to win. And
how did the cool cap work today?
Perfect, beautiful. That's the only one. I told Tom today, I says, the hell with all them other ones we did with your horses when we went up there again. All we need is one. All I want is one. I'm not gonna go parade all around the place. The two we did with you, one of them was okay to use, but I'm not gonna do that. I look, the numbers show. We took pictures. Everything we took, you're going to see pictures of us putting the hood on. You're going to see pictures of us taking the temperature, where we took it, how we took it. After we took the thermometer out of its rectum, we took a picture of it. We took a picture of the thing on. We did, and we have a chart that goes just like this. 10, 11 degrees cooler at the cap than the core temperature that come out of the rectum. I'm not going to get into all of this because I told Tom today, he just left. I told Tom today, forget about the other ones. Let's just do one and let's get this thing going. I can't go up there spending $300-400 every week to the one test is enough. It proved it. I have backup and I have backup and I have backup. That's it. Now what we're going to do is Joe's coming down to see me on, he's coming for his son's wedding. By the way, wish him a lot of luck and success. I should call him up and congratulate him. And if
that would be nice. He would appreciate that.
Yeah, I will. I got to make sure I have I know I have his number. So, I need for you either to retire or do good. The claiming game is tough enough. You can't play the yielding game. You don't have enough. You need 300 horses. You need 300 horses to play remove and replace. Remove and replace, remove. All these top guys got 300 horses. Remove and replace, remove and replace. They could kill 20 horses in one meet, and nobody will ever know it. Remove and replace. And they just made Bob Baffert the head guy for
Heise.
For Heise, yeah. They made him the consultant. Anyway, that's it. So that's why I said something when you weren't on here, only because I was hoping word trickled back to you, and obviously it did. Where if I was
I watched it. I watched the podcast the following day because like I said, I went to bed at 7:15. You know, I've been going to bed every night 8 o'clock, and I've been getting up 3 o'clock and leaving the house 3:30, 3:45, and you know, so I usually go to bed, you know, and that's it. But you know, I just wanted to tell you my numbers on my treatments. They went from 59 to 44, and then the last one I went for my treatment Wednesday. It went to 14.2.
Wow, good for you.
So it's
making progress.
Yeah, the treatments are working good, and after that, he said if we can get that to 0, then we got to work on the pelvis and the other thing. But you said no more talking about that. I just wanted to tell you that.
That's good. Hey, you know what? Here's what a lot of the people, and every one of them called up with respect. And they said, Larry, he says, you know, every week all you're talking about doom and gloom and everything else.
Yeah, they want to change the podcast to General Hospital.
Yeah, so they're right. But in the meantime, somebody like me and you that can talk about this, because I must get 50 phone calls. In fact, I got a couple of phone calls from a real true mob guy that has about 15 under his belt. And I gave him all the information and everything else. It's very, very, very important that people have to know that chemo does absolutely nothing except kills you faster. It just kills you faster. And yet, when you go to all these hospitals, the first thing they do is they say, and they won't even consider nothing else. The first thing they do is this: what they did to me. You have a very aggressive type of cancer. It's going to and you have to make up your mind right now. Right now? Okay, right now. Let's go. Okay. Starting next week, you're going to have, we're going to do this and this test. So I says, let me ask you a question. I says, if I say to a girl, I'm going to take you out to dinner, you want to go? And she says, yes. And I say, well, all right, I'll pick you up 2.5 weeks from now on a Wednesday, and you're going to go. Why the fuck did you make me come back the next day and tell me that I wasn't approved for the pills? Why'd you make me do that? And then you tricked me into the chemo. And then the next week you tricked me into the chemo because you says this is very aggressive and we can't let it get away from you. You got 2 tumors, 1 in each lung. You can't let it get away. So until we get this, we're going to do it. So I did chemo for 3 or 4 weeks. In that 3 or 4 weeks, I lost 50-something pounds. Every day of that 4 weeks, for 30, 40 days, all I did was throw my guts up, dry heaves. It got me that neuropathy and lost maybe 50 pounds and got me so sick that when I went there the 5th week, I says, I'm here for my appointment, but I don't want chemo. And I says, and please, it's my choice. I don't want it. And she says, I don't blame you. That's what she says. I don't blame you. And they put together, and I finally got approved for the other thing. And there was one pill that was still making me sick. Right now, today is the best I ever felt in 40 years. Right now, no pain, no nothing. The only thing is I can't walk 10 feet without having to stop and breathe. That's it. And that's why I went to the heart doctor, and she's my friend, and she put me through 5 tests already. The last test I'm going to is the final one, the nuclear test.
The nuclear stress test. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's the
did that
last
a
one I'm
couple
going.
times.
Once I'm sure that it's not my heart, then I just have to concentrate on my lungs. Then I start asking a lot of questions. Where are the lungs? Can you cut them out? Can you cut one lung out and zap the other one with chemo? The problem with radiation is that the radiation will kill the tumor. It'll also kill your liver, your stomach, the linings, all the it's dangerous shit. So
Yeah.
when I had to get it done, no matter what, and he told me the side effects. He says, this radiation is pretty powerful stuff. He says, and we're going to burn the lining of your stomach. They go, and even though it's pinpointed, because they had to put me in the cast and everything to do this, they do it from the back and then from the front. And sure enough, after the 6th thing, this pain, after 10, I had no more pain at all, except it burnt the lining of my stomach. And that tortured me for like 5 weeks, 6 weeks. It finally went away. Like I said, right now, if I could breathe, I'm in the best shape. I'm just in good shape. I feel good. I eat good.
All right, hey, I don't know. Here, get. Do you have the inhaler?
I have 100 inhalers. You want one?
No, I just. You have albuterol?
I got about a gallon of it. You want some?
No. Do you take it?
Well, I wasn't going to take it, but because when they sent me home from the hospital, they gave me albuterol. They gave me 3 drugs.
There it is, right here. See?
Yeah, I know.
I take it, and if I shortness of breath because I got asthma, I take 2 hits.
I don't have asthma. I have.
You have your lungs.
My lungs been like this since I was 5 years old. When I was born with pneumonia and had pneumonia all them years, I was the longest patient in Booth Memorial Hospital when they first opened, because back in them days, if you had pneumonia, they left you in bed for 2 weeks. Today, you have pneumonia, you're up and out. Get the fuck out of here and cough all this shit up. And that's why my 2 lungs, the bottom half of both lungs, are all complete scar tissue. That's why I'm constantly coughing. I had a lot of experience with nebulizers. I remember when they first came out and everything else. Anyway, okay, that's enough talk about this stuff. We got
all right. Comments.
We got like 60 comments, I think. We got a lot of comments already. All right, but here's what I'm going to do too. I'm going to do something like this, and all you guys with the comments, I'm gonna get to everybody. But here's my new plan. For those of you that don't know about it, we're gonna every day, and it might be 2-3 times. In fact, tomorrow night, I got a call from a friend of mine, and he's coming on with 2 other guys. Both guys I know of. I wasn't friendly with them, I know of, but I know Joe. And Joe is the one that owned Autistic Fella, who won the Meadowlands Pace and everything else. He's a real nice guy. He's a little fucking wacky, and I'm sure he's listening now. But he's the only guy I know that left Brooklyn. That the mob guys told him, "You got to leave here. You got to." He was too nuts. Fought 6 cops at one time when they come into the club to try to. He's just nuts. But he's my friend. And he left Brooklyn. He lives in Jersey. And the first horse he ever bought, he went to the sale, and he bought Autistic Fella. He didn't know a horse from a goat. In the meantime, the horse won $1 million, win the Meadowlands Pace, sent him over to Europe or Australia. Is a stud. He made a ton of money. Anyway, he's coming on tomorrow with a friend, and I did a podcast with him before.
Yeah, I remember.
We talked about Autistic Fella. He's coming tomorrow with 2 of his friends. I don't know who they are. I'm not down in the studio the way where I was before. Now I'm up, and I made this 3rd bedroom, the 4th. How many bedrooms I got? I don't even know. I made 1 bedroom into a little office here, and what you see is what you get. It's a 12 by 12 room, I guess. So what I did was I added another monitor over here, because they ain't gonna sit on my lap, so they're gonna have to sit around here. And one guy can sit right next to me, and the other guy, you can see it's right on the big monitor over there. So I don't know how it's going to turn out. But then I might do one on a Thursday, because number one, it gives me something to do. Number 2, there's a lot of, I got thousands of pictures. I should have more, but each picture has a story. Even in my book, I don't know how many chapters it has, but I could do a podcast for the next 100 years with the pictures that I have. In fact, I just as I was doing this, and I just put this all together. In fact, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you one of the first ones I put up. Let's see. One of the first ones I put up was this one here. And the reason I did it was because I just happened to run across that book. Now, here's the first one I put up. I wasn't going to do him today, but just to show you. Where the hell is it? Okay, here. See this guy? He's a priest now. He's a pastor or whatever the hell you call it. Okay. His name is Eddie Donnelly. He was a jockey. And he was a jockey that got involved with the crew I put together. And I had a big fight with Tony Shula over this guy because they beat the shit out of him and scared him to death and made him go steal the money. And the guy did it. He came with his girlfriend. He did it. He paid everything. I knew nothing about this. And I found out later. When I found out years later, many years later, I happened to see something on Facebook about this book. Now, here's the book that he wrote. He wrote this book, Ride the White Horse. This book is unbelievable. It tells about how Shula got him and beat the shit out. He run over the money. He couldn't help it. He run over the money. And I told Shula from the beginning, somebody runs over the money, keep your hands in your pocket, rush to your car, and get the fuck out of there. Don't be busting up these 100-pound guys. He weighs 360 pounds, this fucking guy. He's 6.5 feet tall. Anyway, I found out. And I called him up. I called him up. And I told him I was sorry. I told him I didn't know. I had no idea. He did the same thing the last race at Lincoln Downs. One guy run over the money, Lincoln Downs. I says, let it go. We're shipping out. Let it go. But he went back to the fucking paddock car. The last race. He caught the guy and he put the guy in the hospital. I had to give the guy $5,000, and I called him up and I says, I says, this is between you and it's over now. What do you mean we work good together? I says, because you're a fucking jerk off. How the fuck you weigh 350 pounds? How the fuck could you take a 100-pound guy and slap the shit out of him and throw him in the trunk of his car? How could you do that? And I says, that's it. Don't fucking call me. Don't bother me. Don't do nothing. And that was it. So what happens when I get to Monticello? Who shows up? Him. Well, we wind up making another ton of money, but anyway. So anyway, that's it. So from now on, we're going to be talking about all these pictures and stories that I have. And for the guy, there was a guy who called me up and says, Larry, he says, I'm 36 years old, and it's very hard for me to believe the story that you told when you got arrested. I says, what's so hard to believe? He says, because the cops can't do that. You could sue the cops. He says,
not then.
You could sue the cops. You could do this. You could do. I says, let me tell you something. All this stuff, you have the right to remain silent, and you can walk out anytime. That don't happen. You know what happened back then? This is what happened back then. That's what happened. When you didn't sign the confession or you didn't cooperate, that's what you look like going out. And all of them guys wind up in the fucking tombs with me over the weekend. And we had a fucking 10 by 10 stall. There were 2 empty ones, but the water was deeper in them, so they put them in with me. So now we had a total of 4 guys all together in these fucking tombs, a foot of water, rats as big as your fucking cat, and this is what you look like. So that's what happened back then. Let me tell you something. They pull your fucking fingernails out. They stick fucking pins in you all over the place, and they hit you over the head with these big law books. But that's what you wind up looking for if you get smart with them. Today, they come. Even if you get pulled over for speeding, why'd you pull me over? Why that never happened? And if that ever happened, then a fucking cop would, his fist would go right through your window and knock you out. Anyway, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about all this kind of stuff. Now let me see. Oh, here I found this picture. Here's a picture. You know who them guys are? That's me, Carla Claus, and Mike Agliotti. We were in California racing at Los Alamitos. And we went shopping, and they all joined Pritikin weight loss thing. Then after Pritikin, it was $10,000 for the treatment. And after the treatment, I didn't do it. Mike did it with all his friends. And after the treatment, they run to Matteo's. Matteo's was a very famous Italian restaurant owned by a guy, Matty Matteo, that he was childhood friends with Frank Sinatra. So when Sinatra became famous, he left Jersey and he opened up a place called Matteo's. And I used to go there every night, and the food was delicious. And every night you sit there with Sinatra, with one that really surprised me was Clint Eastwood. He was very tall but hunched over, like, you know. And this was 50 years ago. But anyway, that's what that picture is. Then, so this is just a sample. I'm just fooling around now, but I'm going to get this down pat where and for all you guys, this is what these poor harness drivers go through and trainers. 7 days a week, there's no rest. And that's what it looked like in Monticello. You got to put up with that for 4 or 5 months out of the year, just like that. No heat, no nothing. And thank God, in fact, the groom that I took the groom off to the side because I always give him 20, 30 bucks. And I says, what's your name? He says, Peter. He says, man, thank you, man. He says, your money's scarce up here. I says, yeah, that's it. You don't have to talk about it. I says, how are them groom buildings? I made Charles Slutsky build them groom buildings. They were living in these tack rooms that were, it was no heat, no nothing.
Yeah.
One bathroom in there that nothing worked. And Charles built that whole big, beautiful, I don't see anything that's nice up there. Okay, let's see what else I got here. Okay, here's my friend. Okay, here's Pretty Debbie. This is Debbie Evilsizer. She was married to Bill Evilsizer. And I had Alan Finkelson. He was the general manager of he was the publicity guy at Monticello Raceway. And then how can I put this? Then when he found out that his wife had something to do with that rock and roll guy, who's the oh geez, William B. Not William B. The other guy that did all the rock and roll songs back then.
A million guys.
Cousin Brucey.
Oh, Bruce Morrow?
Yeah, Cousin Brucey was fooling around with his wife, so he found out about it, and then he left Monticello. He left his wife, and he went to Florida, and they made him the publicity guy there, and he was very, very friendly. He was a baseball Yankee freak. He knew everything about everything, and Steinbrenner loved him. And Steinbrenner used to bring Whitey Ford, Mickey Mantle, Billy Martin, all of them to the dining room because they used to train in Fort Lauderdale. And so Alan Seward, who's the guy I just mentioned?
Finkelstein.
Alan Finkelson. He says, come down to my office. So I go down to his office, and he's sitting there with Steinbrenner, who I met before. And he says, George wants to give you all his horses. And at that time, he had all his horses with, that big guy. He owned a big nightclub up there. Oh, geez, I forgot his name. But he was a nice guy. But a tough guy. He didn't take no shit from nobody. Italian guy. I can't think of his name, but he owned a big nightclub up there. In fact, the nightclub was doing so well that he built something like 200 square feet. It was like an Amazon building. And in there, he had basketball courts. He had boxing rings. He had everything. Well, anyway, Steinbrenner had a problem of not paying, according to him. And I says, look, he wants to give me the horses. And he says, Larry, he says, there's a lot of nice horses. He says, but you're going to have to scrape you. You know, you think he would pay you right away, but he don't. And that's the problem I have with him. And so I says, oh, all right, thank you. I says, I'm not going to take the horses. So I go back to Alan Finkelson, and I tell him I'm not going to take that. Now, who's in Alan Finkelson office but Debbie? Because Alan loved Debbie, and Debbie was beautiful, and she was a decent driver. She was good. And when Bill and her like kind of separated, and then Bill was driving his truck one day with his arm out the window, and he got sideswiped. His arm come right off. So anyway, Bill was kind of, but anyway, I got Steinbrenner to give Debbie all the horses. So she comes to me one day and she says, Larry, well, first of all, I helped. She's listening now, so I'm not going to say nothing that wasn't. I helped her do whatever had to be done, and so now she's got her first source in for George Steinbrenner. And she sent me this picture with a big thank you. This is the picture she sent. This is the first horse she drove for George Steinbrenner. That's it. That's her winning, and that's me with my hand still in the handles. So, and that's it. So she said, "Thank you very much," and everybody was very, very happy.
What the exacta pay?
I forgot.
You know, not to change the subject, but you heard Dolly Parton died today?
Yeah. She was sick from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's Mike Gagliardi's birthday today.
Mike Gagliardi.
You know, they say that if, you know, I don't understand this. They say if the guy's dead and you have nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. But what about the people that got fucked and should really know the story and are tired of hearing? And I'm not talking about Mike now. I'm talking about in general. Mike could be in this thing and just get chopped up. Find out you're getting chopped up, and then you can't say nothing. So I have a lot of things to say about a lot of people, but I won't say. I say stupid, mundane things, bullshit things. But look, you know what's terrible, and this is the conflict that I have with myself. I watch all of these podcasts because if you watch regular television, all there is this, political stuff. So I watch mostly YouTube, and I listen to music all day long. But sometimes I switch over to all the mob genre podcasts, and it's the same old story with exaggerations and everything else, and when you hear some of these stories, and I heard 3 stories of guys that become a government witness that were told to me that they became a government witness, and when they told me the whole story, and 2 of them, one of them was on my podcast.
Larry Mazza.
Larry Mazza, yeah. And he's having a major problem now with. There's a major problem going on now with. I don't want to talk too much about that because they were friends growing up. They were killers together. But Larry Mazza, he became a government witness, and the Grim Reaper's son spent 30-something years in jail, half of it in solitary confinement.
Scarpa?
Yeah. So there's a lot going on there, but it bothered me when now I'll just give you a story that happened to me, and then we'll relate it. If everybody says, Larry, in fact, it helped me because through the years from 80, 85, 86, 87, when I was out in the street, I had the reputation of a good stand-up guy, that you could do anything. If you need anything, get in touch with Larry. Now, that reputation stemmed from the time I was 15, 14 years old, and we were robbing trailer trucks and stuff and dealing with all the fences from the Bronx to Brooklyn to Staten Island to Rego Park, all over the place. And I had a reputation. The closest I ever got to get pinched there was when I took 3 trailer loads of Cutty Sark whiskey out from Mid-State Spectre, and I sold them to John Gotti. We were kids. I was 16, and the FBI. That's a long story. The FBI were all over the place the next day. My cousin was the boss of Mid-State Spectre and in Maspeth, and he says walked me outside in the yard by the gas pumps, and he says, "Don't look now, but on top of the roof across the street,
there's a camera.
FBI guys." He says, "You see that Con Edison truck outside? That's FBI guys. The guys working at the FBI guys." He says, "I'm telling you this. I'm not accusing you of anything, but I'm telling you not to take any gas," because we used to all fill up our gas because they weren't diesel; they were gas trailer trucks. And he says, "Stay here for 2 or 3 weeks and then leave." And that's what I did. But through my whole life, I had the reputation of a stand-up guy. And when you have that reputation, it gives you opportunities that you could never get if you were just a regular guy with a regular job. So I get a lot of offers, and some of them are tough to take, but I take them all. And so far, and I take them when I'm desperate. You know, if my house is in foreclosure and I'm 6 months behind, and somebody says, "Look, you do this, 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 and all your bills will be paid."
We got you loud and clear, right, Eddie?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so that's okay. Now here, do you remember this guy when he come on my podcast?
Yep. That's
Bobby Ches, 3-time world champion, and he came to see me. And he did my podcast, and he had a little bump on his nose. He says, "This fucking thing is bothering. Now it's shutting off. It's growing so big, it's shutting off. I can't breathe on it." So that's when I had the colostomy. I had the bag on the side, and I says, "Look, you see this fucking bag? If I would have went and got a colonoscopy 5 years ago, like I was supposed to, none of this would have happened. They would have caught the polyps early, because a polyp is a tumor that's needs 5-6 years to grow. That's all. So if you don't go for the colonoscopies," so I says, you should go. So he says, he says, I have some money invested, and I'm supposed to get a big bunch next year. He says, and when I get it, I'm going to pay your house off for you, because I did him a favor. So what happened was, he goes to the doctor the next day, and this is how he come out of the hospital. They found a tumor right there by his nose, by his nostril, and the root went all the way up his nose, his forehead, into his brain. Unbelievable. So all you folks out there, I know you don't want to hear about morbid stuff or doctors, but go get a colonoscopy every 5 years. That rule, once you're 75 and older, you don't need it. That's bullshit. Because when I got my 20 inches taken out, that was one big cancerous tumor. The surgeon come to me and he showed me the picture. He took a picture of it. It was fucking disgusting. And he says, this didn't grow overnight. He says, when was the last time you went for colonoscopy? I says, 10 years ago. He says, if you would have went 5 years ago like you were supposed to, this would have been nodules. This would have been nothing. He says, now you're fucked. So go every 5 years, even if you're 90. Just go. Okay. I'm cutting a lot of these stories short because this is like brand new to me. Just like here, this is one of the pictures I took. This is the horse's brain. This is the horse's brain, and that's all the vessels that we're going to slow down the thing. And here is this part. Well, you can't see it. There's no sense in me pointing. But here you could see. In fact, what I should do is I should somehow color this picture so you could see where the guttural pouches are like over here, where right like under the eye, but back more. And then this whole cavity here is when the horse breathes in, this whole area here from the nostril all the way up to behind the ear It's all like a big cavity, and it leads right into the guttural pouches. And there are so many reasons, and I'm gonna get into all of this when I build a website. I haven't built already. I'm just adding stuff to it. Where that's the horse's normal cooling thing. That and sweating, and all I'm doing is enhancing that and slowing the process down. So that's as much as I'm going to say about that. This picture here was when that fella back there up against the wall by the window with the I get the light color shirt next to the guy that's sitting up with the dark shirt. That guy is Eddie Burns, the actor Eddie Burns, the guy with the dark shirt. The guy next to him, to his left, that's Steve Moscow. He's the head of Village Roadshow, which is the largest company that they deal with 180 countries. They distribution, as far as distribution goes. The guy sitting next to him is Nicholas Pileggi, who's the most sought after mob writer. He wrote Casino, he wrote Goodfellas, and I think they put the whole thing together about Sammy the Bull Gravano, and then they dropped it. They spent a lot of money and they dropped it. Then that's me sitting there in the corner with the dark shirt on. Next to me is the guy sticking his head out there. That's oh shit. He's him and his brother ran Sony Pictures for a long time and broke away, and he started his own thing. The guy sitting next to him, this little guy in the corner, Steven Spielberg, sent him down to see if he would get involved. And these two people here work for Village Roadshow. They are the people that are in charge of what shows are going to be on what shows are they going to promote. And the only holdup here was that this guy is Richard Price. He wrote The Wire, one of the longest running TV series. So my writers were Richard Price and Nicholas Pileggi. And both of them, and we had two meetings, big luncheon meetings that lasted for hours. And they both says, this has to be a TV series. It can't be a movie. There's too much left out. Because when I met with them for two major sit downs, I went into stories that are not even in the book, that nobody even knows about. Because when I wrote the book, I just put stuff in that could be easily verified. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's not in there that could be in there. I just don't know, because even though the problem I have with one or two stories that happened in there during the race fixing scandal is that there's no, and there's no statute of limitations on murder. And they were one or two jockeys. They say one killed himself, the other one was killed. And I had absolutely nothing to do with any of that. And that's when things really started to heat up. And what I did, the only good thing I did was because I hated Fat Tony Schuler so much, because he beat up that kid in Lincoln Downs, that I really didn't want to have nothing to do with him. But when you have to come up with 16,000 a week in 1971, 16,000 a week vig, you wind up dealing with the devil again, and that's exactly what I did. But I kept my distance. I put a real big buffer between me and him, and thank God I survived it. And the reason I survived it was only because of Anthony DiCerio, who comes on this show. His cousin was Conorico, the jockey who was doing everything. And he stood up. He went to jail for 7 years. He stood up. And when he stood up, he went to jail for 7 years. When he got out, he did an interview, which I have. But I promised I would never release it. Me and Anthony heard it, naturally. I had to have Tom to clean it up. But his son, he has a couple of sons. His son is a pretty wealthy guy. He owns a big dealership in South Jersey, and he wants to write a book. But me and Anthony talked about it. If he didn't write it by now, he's not going to write it. But there's nothing more I can do because that was it. But that's the only reason I didn't get busted up, only because of his uncle. I kept his mouth shut. And Tony did, and they never got me on a wiretap. They never got nothing like that. There were no cell phones back then, and it was hotel to hotel. And all I said was, when you got to call me up, just go to a different room. Go to a different room. Go to a room a maid is in, and just front desk and just call. So that's what we did. Paul Bernard. That's the guy's name. Paul Bernard. That's the guy sticking his head out. Him and his brother run Sony Pictures, and then they split up. So them are the people that I was getting involved with.
Did you pick up the tab there, Larry?
No, you know how much that tab was? After we got done.
That's Peter Luger's, right?
Peter Luger's, yeah. After we got done eating, the waiter comes over and says, "Would you like any dessert?" So I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing the whole time. The only thing I said was when, and it happened now, was when the waiter says, "You want dessert?" Steve Moscow says to me, he says, "Larry, you're the main man here. You haven't said a word." And Pileggi spoke, and Steve Moscow spoke, and so did Paul. And they says, "Yeah, we're deciding now should be a TV series of this, but this is going to take over the Sopranos, and everything's good." And I had to sign a book for all of them and everything else. And then he says, "Well, you got to say a couple of words." And here's what I said. I says, "I'd like to get a picture of this table with all you heavyweights, because if this don't happen, I'm going to write another book saying I almost made it again." And but they all start laughing. And then they says, "And now that I said that, I want a banana split." And everybody ordered a banana split. And the check comes at over $6,000, and they don't take credit cards. But Steve Moscow had a wad of money. Like it had to be, because 10,000 is bullshit. 10,000 is a half-inch thick, and if you fold it, it's an inch thick. It's no. But he took out a wad. That he paid for it. The bill was about $6,000, and he paid for it. So anyway, that's a little story about that picture. This picture here was the first thoroughbred. The first thoroughbred I bought for Kelly Jones, who was that girl right there standing there. And it was a maiden. It was a maiden, and it was for $30,000. And she wanted a young horse. And we claimed her. We claimed this one, and he won by open length. It was a short race, 5 furlong race, I think, and he went for fun, and that prompted her father to want to buy more and more and more horses. That's a whole other story. That's a story for 10 podcasts. But I think she's coming down here, and if she comes down here, she'll sit right next to me. And I'm not going to say too much about what we went through in the great success we had. But she's going to come down. She called me up. Unfortunately, what happened to her was, and I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to say it again when she's sitting at my side, because it's hard to believe. Things were getting a little hairy, because her father put me in charge of her. And he said, "I have unlimited money, but you need to take care of my daughter." And I would. The problem with his daughter, was that she was young, she was beautiful, and when you're 40 years old, 45 years old, and you're with a 20-year-old girl, it's, the hormones start going. So it was a situation like that my manhood was starting to get in the way. But I had enough control to just end it right there. But what happened was, this guy on the end here with the sunglasses on, she started going out with him. And one day she didn't show up for work until like 11 o'clock. So she was scared to death, because she knows I'm no nonsense. She come in, she brought him in. And she was crying. She was, Larry, she met the guy. They shacked up, and they were probably doing whatever they were doing all night long, and then they fell asleep and they just woke up. So I says to the guy, I says, listen, her father put me in charge of her. I says, and I don't know how to handle this. I says, so I'm just going to say this. She better show up every morning here. So what happened was she did it again a couple of days later. I called up her father. Her father lived in Florida. I called up her father. This was in Delaware Park, by the way. I called up her father and I says, come on down here. He's coming down over the weekend. She didn't know nothing about it. And we went to this diner and I says, listen, I said, in fact, Jimmy Bernstein was the one that introduced me to the father. He was the one that set this whole thing up. The harness driver, Jimmy Bernstein. So what happened was the father comes down, we're sitting down having breakfast, and I says, listen, I'm leaving. I'm going to give you to Bruce Jackson. And Kelly started crying. Because I used to sit with Kelly almost every night before she met this guy. And I would go over everything, every part of the horse, the anatomy, what they use and what you can't use, what it does and how it does. I taught her everything. Plus, I got her a groom's license. I got her a trainer's license. I got her an exercise rider's license. I got her everything. But when I decided to leave, she cried and cried and cried and cried and she begged me to come back. And I says, I can't. And I come back to the Trotters. Well, about 6 months later, she must have went off the deep end because she got run over by a truck. A truck ran her head over. And she was in a coma for months and months. They didn't think she was going to live. But then she come out of the coma, and for years, she had to learn how to talk. She had to learn how to do everything. And now, from what I understand, she's recuperated to the point where she wants to start riding horses and start training horses again, which naturally I'm not going to have nothing to do with, but that's what she wants. And that's why she's coming and she's trying me to get to go back to, because now when the guy I gave him to was Bruce Jackson, his wife was Amy. Amy was a jockey. She came up with Kelly, Kelly Drone. The jockey. What was the girl's jockey's name?
Julie Crone.
Julie Crone.
Julie Crone.
Julie Crone. She come up with Julie Crone. So anyway, she calls me up one day, and she says, Kelly, she's crying, and she says the barn caught on fire. All the horses are dead. So naturally, I got my car and I drove to Fair Hill. That's where they were in Maryland. And we went out to dinner. And the father was not happy with Bruce. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. That's not true. I shouldn't have said that. It's not true. But Kelly was trying to convince the father that Bruce didn't know what he was doing. So anyway, I told him, I says, listen, I says, you got two choices. You can go back and keep buying horses for the trainer that, according to Kelly, and don't win races, or this barn is burnt to the ground. You have 5,000 horses at this place with all the top trainers. Everybody's sitting on trunks waiting for veterinarians to come. Build a therapy center. And that's what they did. I got them the Amos to build it. I got them the hyperbaric chamber, which is busy 24 hours a day for the last 20 years, 300 a pop for an hour. And Bruce Jackson now and Kelly's father they have two farms now. They have over 200 horses that they're paying $150 just to board them there. They're making millions and millions and millions. And Jimmy Bernstein, who hooked me up with them way in the beginning, because with Jimmy, I wouldn't have known them. Jimmy called me up and he says, they're making millions of dollars. And if it wasn't for you, they never would have had that and everything else. And he wanted to go there. And I says, no, that's it. Look, I left. I left. I left. Look, you make a mistake, you make a mistake. I didn't think I made a mistake. I can't. I did what I had to do based on the situation. Anyway, let me get rid of this picture. Okay, let's see this picture here. That's what we already went through that. Let's see. Remember a lot of days like that, Eddie, huh? Snow blizzards.
Oh, my own. Yeah. Yep. Oh boy.
These are the kind of charts that we're gonna have. Well, we're only gonna have one now, but you could see that the red line is with no cap, with hot and humid weather, and 4 grams of gel with the white hood. That's this thing here. So that's lower. That, let's see, 400 grams gel and white hood, hot. Oh, white hood. That would hot and humid. So that's right here. Without the hood, it's 106. With the hood, it's 105. Then this one here, let's see, 4 gels, white hood. That's anyway. That's it. You can see where the cap is. There's no more. There's no. And here's another one that's easy to read. Brain core temperature raises during 1 mile, and this is during. And these are the kind of charts that we're gonna only much better. So anyway, folks, this is the kind of stuff we're gonna be doing. I got a million pictures. I'm going to keep adding pictures to this and get rid of the ones we talk about. And by the way, this is our logo right there. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Right, that's our logo. That's it. So that's it. So okay. So that's enough about that, because I just gotta put a bunch of pictures in. And I was just putting pictures in to see if I knew how to do it, because my friend showed me how to drag them over, because when they reset this computer, they screwed it all up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the comments. We'll go right down the line here, right here. Oh wait, hold on. Let me get rid of this.
Did you go on your phone?
Where did Joe go? He disappeared.
He'll be back.
Get rid of the cool cap.
The lights are out, so
I'm trying to find
Oh.
it.
most of your pictures just like you get into bed. Go to my phone. Don't.
Where the hell is it? Where the hell did it go? It can't be that one. Could it be this one? No. It ain't that one. Okay.
There you go.
I got rid of it. All right. So now we're going to go down and see the comments. Where the hell is Joe? Okay. Steve Wing says, hello, Larry and friends. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Sundance. Hi, Larry. Hope all is okay. Give Buddy a big hug for me. Okay. Manny. Hello, Larry, Rolla. You look great. Thank you, Manny. I'm getting better. I just got to gain about 70 pounds and maybe grow some hair back. Sundance. You look good, Larry. Hi, Sundance.
Well,
Sundance says hello to Manny. My
now
cousin Cookie. Hey, cuz, looking good. Thank you, Cook. It's all because of you, Cookie. If you didn't make that one phone call, I would have been nothing but bones right now.
Well, you know,
Okay, hi, Cookie.
I don't know.
Manny Cigars. Any guests coming on tonight besides the man himself, Larry Rolla? No, because I'm trying a new thing. There's going to be some people coming on tomorrow. Who knows? But we're changing the whole thing, so I'm trying to get it to where it's fun to tune in, and this way, if anybody has during the week, if they have pictures that they want to send me, as long as you email me the pictures, I can get them up on a thing, and then you can come on the show and we can talk about it. So, and I'm sure a lot of guys out there have a lot of pictures that you could send me that you could very interesting things that you could talk about. Okay, let's see. Sundance says hello, Joe and Eddie.
Hey, Sundance.
And my cousin Cookie says, hiya, Joe. Hiya, Eddie. You guys look great.
Thank you.
Okay, Manny Cigars. Hello, Eddie Deloro. Great talking to you the other day. Okay.
Same here.
Eddie D has a big week. Eddie D has a big week. Okay. Pick the pros and ponies. Who the hell is Naira to price out the everyday customer opening day at Belmont? I don't know what that means. What are they doing, Eddie?
Well, they're going to charge, fee to get in.
What's wrong about that?
I don't know.
Okay. You are the man, Eddie.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
He's the man.
Smoke them cigars there, Manny.
50 bucks. Oh, here it is. 50
Yeah.
bucks to get into the grandstand is insane. That's what they're charging, Eddie?
Yeah, plus parking. It costs you probably a C note before you can get in the door.
Did you see the thing on Facebook that Joe Ferraldo wrote about Heisa?
I really didn't. I glanced. You know, he writes a lot about it. You know, so.
It says that their yearly thing now is over 100 million.
Yeah, well, it was 86, and then now it's up to 100 and something.
Okay, let's see. Naira is a bunch of
schmucks.
Good evening, guys. Steve Basile. Good evening.
Good evening.
Steve, how's the horses doing? I think whatchamacallit, Manny called me the other day. He says he got rid of 2 more horses. He says he's very busy. He's getting a little bit disenchanted with the horses. He don't go. Business is too getting big now. So he says he's downsizing, which is good. $7 just to get in and not sit. The new Gelmont, that's Belmont, I guess, will be fucking empty. Naira doesn't give a shit about the $2 better. Disgusting. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Steve Basile, good, Manny. Looks like we have a race in the book October 4th at Belmont. How about yourself? What's that mean, Eddie?
Well, there's a race picked out for one of Steve's horses on October 4th at Belmont. How about yourself? I guess Manny. I don't know. What the trot is, I don't know.
I couldn't find it, and I did see it.
Wow. Steve Basile, hello. Hope you're doing good. Let's see. Manny, Eddie, just give them baking soda.
What does she want?
Just give them baking soda. They will be all right after that. Let me tell you something about baking soda. let me tell you about baking soda for all of you guys, the gamblers and everybody, the gamblers, the trainers, and everything. If you have a recipe and make the best soup in the world, let's call that the baking soda. And then you pour the baking soda into this soup and lace it with arsenic. And what I'm trying to say is that if the horse is not physically fit in every other way, soundness in both body and mind, baking soda, you can give him baking soda all day long. If he's lame or he's not feeling good, baking soda ain't gonna help. Baking soda is the edge that everybody looks for, but when you look for it, you have to know what the hell you're doing, and you have to know that you can't have a horse that's crippled or has a couple of major problems like a paralyzed flap or whatever you would call it, and then just give baking soda and think that's a cure-all. Baking soda is a tremendous edge only because it eats up lactic acid before it affects the muscles in the horse in a mile and a quarter race. Other than that, if your horse is not sound and you have a problem, or you have a problem with a horse that flips its palate or is lame or has bad feet, you can give all the baking soda in the world. So when Joe Guarino says that he was using baking soda when it was legal, it was legal because people, the guys who knew, Joe was one of them back then. The guys who knew, and they found out from that kid, I can't think of it, him and his father.
Monty Gilrod?
Yeah, no, not Monty.
Pelling, Brett Pelling.
Brett Pelling. Monty Gelrod was the name I was trying to think of before, when I think it was Ron says that that guy from Canada got
Robinson.
Robinson. Monty Gelrod was his American partner.
Go to, yeah.
Yeah, they were together. Monty Gelrod had a barn, and he had you couldn't go in there, change. Nobody can go in. But even when I was helping the veterinarian told me I have to wait outside. I says, for what? He says, it's Monty's barn. He don't want to see. Yeah. I said, you're going to tell me anyway. What the fuck's the thing? He says, look, there's nobody in the barn. So they were doing all that epigen, and then he came over, and this is Monty Gilrod. This is what Monty Gilrod did. And if he's listening, he'll know it's true. I used to meet him at exit 2 on the Jersey Turnpike. I met him there every morning, and he used to get in my car, and because I had a sticker in the past and everything else, and I used to drive him into the thing. And at that time, Mike McCarthy was training, and he tried a couple of that stuff, and some worked, some didn't work. I kind of walked away when that happened, because you kind of read people, and you know that if you're with 5 guys and the cops come in, and you knew these 5 guys, you would know which ones are going to stand up and which ones are not. So I didn't get the feeling that neither one of them would stand up if they had it. So I kind of backed away from that, and I don't want to have nothing to do with it. Okay, let's go. Steve and Seal, good luck, Manny. Manny Cigars. Those who want respect have to give respect. Now, Manny, let me tell you something, Manny. I'll tell you something. And we spoke the other day, and I'll tell you something. And this is a problem that you had with one of my very, very good friends, and somebody that don't need the fucking aggravation and bullshit. I'm going to tell you this. I told you in private, and now I'm going to tell you in public. Don't say something you're not going to do. No fucking, you just can't do it. I don't give a fuck unless you say, I have 1 month to live, so I think I'm going to back out on buying a horse. Don't say it. You don't impress anybody with your fucking money. You don't impress anybody with your person. And the only way guys like that you see on the screen now, the only way the guys that are on my podcast on the screen, they're all stand-up guys. And each one of them, and I never said this before, I didn't even tell you in person. I just straightened that bullshit out with you and Joe, because you can't talk to me, you can't talk to Joe, and you can't talk to Eddie like we're fucking jerk-offs and you're the main guy because you have the money. You could take your money and stick it up your fucking ass, because if you're our friend, you're our friend because you're a good, decent stand-up guy. You don't have to fucking say, I want to buy a horse for 70,000. I want to buy it. None of that impresses us one fucking bit. You know what impresses us? When you do what you say you're going to do. And that's the problem that you have. Now, I'm not saying you did it on purpose, but why the fuck would you do it if it wasn't on purpose? I just don't get it. Why would you tell somebody that you just met, you go to the barn, you're going to buy a horse, and then nobody hears from you? And then you just keep making all the, I just don't get it. And the reason I don't really get into it is because I'm not in the business and I really don't give a fuck. The only reason I called you up that time to try to straighten it out is because Joe Guarino is a good guy and a good friend and don't tolerate fucking nonsense and bullshit. And them words are the words I told you when I got you on the phone. So I'm not saying it now in front of everybody. I'm just telling you. And you said, now I understand. Well, you had to be a little fucking naive to think that you can go around to grown men and say, all right, but you says, now I understand. I was in some place in a snowstorm and everything else. That's all good. But the snowstorm came 6 months after you said you were going to buy Eddie a horse. Now, my other friend that comes on here says, I think I'll get into the horse business. You know what he did the next day? He went to Eddie's barn, put $100,000 in the fucking account, went and got his license, and now he has a horse. They claimed the first horse already. Now, that's what we all expected of you when you said you were going to do it, and it didn't happen. Now, I'm sure that you're going to come up with excuses and everything else, and they could be legitimate excuses. The one you told me that you were in a blizzard and everything else, that's a legitimate excuse. But before the fucking blizzard, there was 6-8 months before that, there was no fucking blizzards. The roads were clear. You had navigation. You could have got to Eddie's barn. Just look, you're our friend. You're my friend. You can come to my house and eat and everything else. It's okay. And this is not meant for you. It's just a saying that I really believe. And it has nothing to do with you, but it's a great saying. It's okay to be in a room with a snake as long as you know it's a snake. You know how to handle yourself. And I don't want to say this because it's a terrible thing, but I used to think I had 4,000 friends until I went broke. Then the people I used to send jet planes to me and everything else, they wouldn't even answer the fucking telephone. Okay? So you have to understand, Manny, you could be worth $10 billion. And this is what I told Larry Kadish. Neither me or any of my friends that come on this show, and they're my friends because of 50 years, 60 years, 70 years of being friendship, and one of them live with me, and one of them work with me for years. They're all stand-up guys. All the scumbags, all the liars, all the freaks, I got no fucking use for them. I don't abuse them. I treat them all with respect and everything else. But if you, Manny, if you want to be part of this little fucking nice group of guys that we have, all stand-up guys, because I know one thing. You could get on your cell phone and call up anybody that's on my screen now, including these two guys, and say, I don't give a fuck what kind of trouble you're in. They're on their way to you. Okay? I can't say that for you, Manny. I can't say because I don't know you enough. Maybe you would be in a fucking car. I don't know. When I first met you, I went to your house. You pulled me outside in the garden, and you says, I have a couple of thousand here if you want it. I says, I didn't come for money. I come to talk to you about this. And I didn't take the money. I didn't take the money. After that, Eddie took me outside. He offered me the same thing. I says, I didn't come here for money. I came here to talk a business deal. Keep your money. And that's what I told him. And now I did the right thing. I say it just the way it is. And that's what you have to do if you want to hang out with us. Now, to hang out with us is no big fucking deal because we're all fucking old. We're all sick. We're all fucking dying. And we're all almost fucking broke. You know, you got to almost hope that you die soon. Because otherwise you have to. I can't work. They won't let me work. I have the cancer and I have my 2 knees done and I can't work. Joe hasn't worked. He takes care of his father. His father's 91 years old and he's not doing too well. Eddie, my friend up there, Eddie, he's got 3 fucking major things. He gets up every morning at 3 o'clock and he goes to work. No bullshit. And if I was to call Eddie, I'm going to tell you something. And I didn't know this. And this is the first time I raised my voice to Joe Guarino. He says to me, "You're going to go out of the country. I'm going to raise money for you." I says, "Don't you dare. Don't you ask nobody for money from me." My whole fucking life, I got out of multi-million-dollar jams by myself. I'll figure it out. Yeah, but you're sick. I'll figure it out. But you know what he did? He did it anyway. And then he says, "Well, I'm going to send the money to Joanne." And what he did was he raised a lot of money. And when I was out of the country, he sent it to Joanne so she could pay the mortgage. He have food to eat because I was away for a couple of months. He did it. And he kept calling Joanne. And he asked everybody. And he asked you. And he asked you. And then he asked you. Never got a call back. And your reason is that there was a snowstorm. Well, that's fucking bullshit. Because I was in a lot of fucking snowstorm. And the reason I was in the car was the reason I was in the snowstorm. It had to get done. And it got done. There ain't one fucking guy, and I don't know how many people watch this, but there ain't one fucking guy in the whole world, including honest guys, thoroughbred guys, that could say that I'm a scumbag or that I didn't do what I say or whatever. They can't say it. It's impossible. They can't say it. I'm basically a good guy that would help anybody, anytime. And whatever I do by myself. I keep it to myself until just now. Now I'm old and I just want to have fun with my friends that I grew up with. Now, Manny, I didn't mean to insult you. I just said what you did. That's all. I didn't say you shit on my friend's new rug. I said you were going to call him and you were going to buy a horse. I mean, what the fuck? I know you have enough money. You bought the house next door to you. You did. Why don't you told Eddie you were going to buy him a horse. Buy the fucking horse or shut the fuck up and talk about anything but horses. But you can't do that to this guy. And these are the words I told you over the phone when it was me and you alone. And trust me, if I felt better back then, because it's only the last 2-3 days I'm feeling good. But if I felt better that then, I would have drove to your house and seen you in person. Because this kind of stuff that we're talking about now should be done one-on-one in the corner someplace, but it's not because I'm sick, so I can't do that. But I was in one way. I'm ashamed that I brought this up and putting your laundry in the street. But in the meantime, you fuck with my friends, and you can't do that. Now you could be part of this fucking group. It's not like the Rat Pack, but we're just a bunch of guys that help each other, and they raised a lot of fucking money. Now, I didn't want it, but you didn't send it when everybody else did. You said you did, but you didn't. And you said you were gonna, and you didn't. So that's it. So Manny, you're still my friend. You still can call me up anytime you want. If you need any help at all in any area, you can call anybody that's ever on my fucking screen here, and you won't have a fucking problem. Now I know that you're a big guy and you're a tough guy and you do judo and all this fucking bullshit. Who gives a fuck? Because the people you're gonna have to go against if you start fucking with the wrong people, they could give a fuck if you were 7 feet tall and with brass knuckles. They don't give a fuck. And I'm not looking to play the tough guy with you, but you're not the toughest guy. You happen to have a good personality, and you happen to be a real nice guy. All you have to do is don't say what you're not going to do. That's all. And if you want to make it up, go to Eddie's barn one of these days and give him a check for $50,000 like you're supposed to, and buy a fucking horse. Now your bullshit excuses are you're getting out of the standardbred business, you want this, and that's all bullshit. Well, if that's the case, that was the case when I first met you. You had too many horses. You're looking to get out, and now you can't do that. And I told you this, so that's as much I'm going to say. You're still my friend and everything else. Just any words that come out of your mouth. If you tell me you're going to pick me up at 7 o'clock, you better fucking be there. You better be there. And I don't say you better fucking be there because I'm a tough guy. I'm just saying you better be there because with me there's consequences, and the consequences are not a bat over the fucking head. The consequences are I'm going to come at you verbally, just your own words. I said, you know what the fuck it's like? You played my part in the little video I made. And by the way, you did a pretty good job. You did a good job, and everybody that saw that thing really liked it. So you did a really good job. I forgot what I was going to say now, but you did it. You did a good job. You're my friend. Everything was just don't say things that you're not going to do. And maybe stuff came up. Maybe somebody got sick and you couldn't do it, or this or that or anything else. I know you get up early, and I know you go to bed late. I know you're a very, very hard worker. All I'm telling you is I don't know about these Jewish guys that you're hooked up with. I met them all, and they're very, very wealthy. That's good. That's your business. I told you as a friend, keep them Jewish guys that are billionaires away from the fucking horse business. Don't take their money to give to Eddie. Use your money. You got a lot of fucking money. Don't get them involved in the horse business, because you're only going to hurt them. I could name the guys on one hand that made money in the horse business, and don't get them involved. And I think you listened to me, and I think you listened to me when you were downsizing. You downsized. I think you got rid of 2 more. So look, I say it the way I see it, plain and clear. You're not going to get no fucking whipped cream covered with nothing. The way I talk to you is the way I talk to the cops, the way I talk to the commissioner. But look, I didn't throw the typewriter out the fucking window because to prove a fucking point. I threw the typewriter out of the window because they were fucking lying to me. They have, in their own rules, they have 30 days to give you a decision after you were barred. You resubmit, and they have 30 days to give you a decision. After 6 months, they kept jerking me around. I finally went up there. I went to Bloom Street, where they were. The racing commission was in the federal FBI building. And I went up there, and I says, all right, now I'm here. But your own laws say you have 30 days. It's been 6 months. You've been jerking me around. This guy went on vacation. This guy went on vacation. This one. I says, now watch this. And I picked up, they had no computers then, they had the fucking typewriter. I picked it up, I threw it out the fucking window. They called the cops, they called security, they called everybody. I said, I don't give a fuck. I said, because the next time I come, I'm going to blow the fucking building up. Well, before I got my house, there were 3 FBI agents, 2 guys and a girl at my door. And they fucking questioned me, and for 5 years, if there was a bomb threat in fucking Istanbul, they would come to my house and say, where were you, this and that. So I have a lot of fucking hard luck stories. I have a lot of stories that a lot of people wouldn't believe. And when you're in situations like I was in, and like Joe Guarino was in, and even Eddie, you do what you got to do. And you better, and you know what kept me alive this long? And this is the moral of the story. What kept me alive this long is I always showed up, and I always told them the way it was. And that's the moral of the story. You don't show up, and you don't tell it the way it is. So just get back on track. Now, if you're in a position, for whatever reason, you don't want to buy a horse, which I'm surprised, because I know you really like horses, and you live right by Belmont, I don't know why you don't take a fucking shot and give a guy that works his fucking balls off, and probably one of the best trainers at Belmont's going to have there. Why don't you give him a fucking shot? It's beyond me. After a while, all that fucking, I don't know what to call it, brown nosing. It's not brown nosing, because you really don't need to. Look, you got more fucking money than all of us put together. And if you want to spend it spend it however you want, but don't tell somebody that you have a lot of money and you're going to buy a horse. You can't do that. You can do it. You can do all you want. You can go to any fucking trainer at Belmont Park, and they'll kiss your fucking ass for you to buy a horse. Right now, even the top trainers are looking to get partnerships. Come with $800, you can buy a horse. $80, you can buy a horse. That's it. Everybody's fucking greedy, and they want more and more horses. And all I'm saying, Manny, is if you really like the horses, like you said in the beginning, you got to remember, you went 2 fucking months where all you did was talk about getting a license, getting horses, and everything else, and then you did nothing. Now, how if the situation was reversed, wouldn't you feel the same way about me? The answer is yes. The answer is yes, Because if one of your Jewish friends ever says to you, how's this guy Larry to deal with? Because, there's something, he has a piece of property for sale, but I don't know. You and I was you would have to say, Larry's full of shit. Don't get involved. Or if you want to get involved, leave me out of it. And that's the situation with you. Because when this first happened, Eddie come to me and says, what should I do with this guy? I says, look, he knows what he said. He said it twice. He knows what he said. He knows what he said. Don't say nothing. Don't ever fucking call him. And if he calls you, don't answer the phone. Let him come down in person. You can't be a fucking... You know what Larry Kadish did to me? Well, the trainer he had before me was Paul Appel. And Paul Appel and Kadish was a billionaire at the time. This is in the late 70s. And he told Paul Appel, he says, I really know your wife is very aggravating and everything else. And I can't come to the bond. Either get rid of her or I'm leaving. Paul Appel divorced his wife to keep Larry Kadish. I hate to say this because he's dead now, but that's a fucking scumbag move. You know what I told Larry Kadish when he said the same thing? Because I was living with Aura, and Aura knew Larry Kadish's wife. And in 1980, there was a major problem between me and Aura. First of all, I went with Aura to save her life. She was in the street. She was a drug addict. She had yellow jointus. I put her in a fucking hospital for a month. I made her quit her not topless, a go-go. She was a go-go dancer in Union City at the Ragdoll and in Jackson Heights at Toontown. And I put her through college. I did everything, and then I took her with me to make sure that she was all right. And each time, and I told her.
Paul Appel died, Larry?
Paul Appel died, yeah.
When?
A couple of years ago.
My brother-in-law has a restaurant, and he manages it, Billy Stonecrabs in Hollywood. And he was talking about horses with somebody, and Paul Appel was in there. And he says, you know my brother-in-law, Joe Guarino? He says, sure. And he put him on the phone with me. This was like about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I didn't know he died.
Yeah, he died.
Jeez.
Yeah, he died. So let me get off this Manny kick because I don't want to come down. I said what I had to say. Most of what I said, I already told you in person over the phone. And if I was feeling bad, I was very, very sick. Just a few, when I thought I was really sick. I was in bad shape. That's when I was on the chemo and what was, I would have drove to your house because talks like this in the world I live in got to be at a round table face to face. And I didn't do that, but I was very fucking sick and I couldn't drive. And so I don't mean to put all this stuff out in the street, but I can't say you deserved it, but when you deal with guys like us, and that's what I told you, you can't say that to Joe, and you can't say it to me. You notice, I never, ever, 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 after you offered me that money, and I saw that, and I started dealing with your wife, and I saw that you took absolutely no interest. In other words, all that you said, it meant nothing. That's it. I never fucking called you. You called me. I never asked you for anything, and the 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 you offered me, I never took it. I says, I didn't come here for that. I come here to talk to you. And that's the kind of people we are. But you can bet your mind, is Joe Guarino mad at you? Absolutely. You know why he's mad at you? Because not because you didn't buy horses for Eddie, because when he called you up to ask for donation for a good friend who was very, very sick, who was trying to get to the Bahamas, you said, yeah. And that money is the same place where that horse you're going to buy is. And that's what's not nice. And I told you that to your face and not over the phone. I wish it could have been over, but it's only the last 3 days I really feel good. Except I can't breathe, but I'm taking care of that next week. So anyway, Manny, that's enough about you. I'm sorry we had to put this out in the street, but now you know how everybody feels. If we were gonna have a big fucking party, I got no problem inviting you. I would just tell everybody around the table, if he says he's gonna buy your horse, he's full of shit. And you have no fucking, Manny, You can't win the argument. So just put your head down and don't argue to try to make yourself right. Because with this crew, you can't make yourself right. You already read and stamped on it, and that's it. That's it. You're still my friend, and you're welcome at my house anytime you want. And I think Joe Guarino, he accepted the apology that you, because I know that you told him you were, but then, okay, so that's it. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. And if you're mad at me for saying this, you got to remember, whatever I just said, I said to you in person not in person, over the phone. I told Joe I was going to call you and straighten out, because Joe was very, very upset. There were two other people, and I hate to bring this up, but there was a tremendous amount of money raised by Joe. And in that amount of money, there was that guy on the top of the screen, Eddie. His money was in there. Everybody's money was in there. People I never even fucking knew was on there. I have a fucking card here, right here. I kept it because I said it was the best card I ever got. Here, this guy. Ain't seen him in 40 years. He writes me. He lives in Vegas. He writes me, recovery is a process. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes everything you've got. And you've got a lot. A kind heart, an amazing spirit, and people who really care about you. And then that was the card. And then he puts down, hello, Larry, a little something to support the fight. We love you. God bless you, Jimmy and Sharon. That's my friend Jimmy Chrissy, which we're going to do a thing on. I have the poster that I had made, and I have him singing about I think maybe 5-6 songs, singing, pieces of it, one into another. And you think it was Sinatra. He's the best Sinatra guy. Sound just like Sinatra, and that was his curse. But I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to get that done as soon as possible, because that's a good story. All right, that's enough. Let's see. Let's go down the line here.
Larry, I gotta hit the road, man. I gotta get up to Saratoga.
I hit the road. You know how, Eddie, I gotta tell you this. I'm telling you this because you're my friend. Do you know how handsome you would look if you got that shit that you put under your eyes for the bags? That it's like alum. That's what it is. It just shrinks everything. You look like a fucking movie star. So why don't you buy? In fact, if you want, I'll buy it for you. You put a minute in the morning, you put it on, it shrinks it all up. By the time you come home, you look like fucking Man Mountain Dean. But you just
terrific. Where am I going to post for Playboy? No, Playgirl.
But it look, because you look good. The last couple of weeks I see you, you look good. Last time I saw you in person, you didn't look that good. And I was, but you look good now. You look good.
Oh no, I put on more. I put on weight. I eating good. I'm sleeping good. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and that's it. It's in God's hands, right, Joe?
That's right,
now, wait a
man.
minute.
100%.
I was gonna end this fucking thing, and now I just got a Manny response. Those who want respect have to give respect. Let me tell you something, Manny. Let me tell you something. There ain't a fucking guy that I know that I introduced you to that gave you nothing but respect. Nothing. So stop with your fucking bullshit. Don't get me fucking mad. Stop with your bullshit. And there is nobody here that disrespected you. Nobody. What you did was you treated all my friends like they were fucking jerk-offs. And they're not. So stop. You're wrong. You were wrong. It has nothing to do with respect, with all these fucking cliches that you come up with. Just be a good guy. And if you say you're going to be someplace, be there. And if you say you're going to do something, do it. That's it. So stop with the fucking respect bullshit. Because if you had respect, you wouldn't have did what you did. Don't get me fucking going. In fact, I got to change the subject because Manny, you don't know.
One thing about this crew, Manny, one thing about this crew, you don't need money to hang out with us.
That's for sure.
Let me get the fuck away. I'm starting to get nervous. Okay, David Arthur. Steve is right. Belmont will be a beautiful joke. Well, Oh, and by the way, Manny, Eddie still has his trainer's license. He's got a couple of real good horses, and he's still open. He still has the stall open in case you want to come with that 50 that you're supposed to bring. But please, Manny, do me a favor, because I'm going to skip right over you if you make these comments trying to make yourself right. You were wrong. We will never talk about it again. Just don't say, because now if you says to me, Larry, what are you doing Sunday? I'll meet you in a restaurant for dinner. I got to hang up the phone and say, is this fucking guy going to show up? You know, I don't know. But I know one thing. If one of these two guys said they were going to do it and I had to drive 20 fucking hours, I'd be there. And they would be there too. So that's what I'm talking about. So stop with all these fucking bullshit cliches that I'm a man of respect and everything else. Well, show up at his barn with a fucking check for $50,000 and then we'll start believing something of what you said. But you can't lie and you can't jerk people around, especially guys like us. You know, you're not talking to fucking post office workers. You're not talking to somebody that owns a fucking landscaping business. You're talking to 3 fucking guys, 2 for sure, that been through hell and back 50 fucking times over and dealt with guys 3 zillion times tougher and scarier than you. So I just want to get that out of the way. Nobody's scared. I don't give a fuck if you're a 10-belt karate. Nothing means nothing to me. None of that means nothing. Because if I knew that you had that right in the front, I'd still come to your fucking door and knock on the door and come in and tell you what I thought. You kill me, you kill me. That's how I went. And I dealt my whole fucking life like that. All by myself. I dealt with every fucking mobster and every fucking family in New York, New Jersey, and in Florida. There's a little guy in Florida, Chinky. Nobody knows about Chinky. He's down there. He died recently at 102. But we used to take him to the track every day. You tell Chinky what you told Eddie, and you'd never make it to your car. So I'm not being smart, and I'm not trying to be a wise guy. All I'm saying, Manny, is I don't make any money on this. In fact, it cost me like $1,000 a fucking year, between 300 for this, 300 for that, 300. So I just and I don't want to not take your calls. And if you notice, I never ever, if I can answer it, I always answer your calls. I answer your calls. I answer your questions. And for the first 3-4 months I know you, I helped you as much as you could with whatever problems that you had. And I answered all your questions and I gave you advice. And that's it. And that's it. So please just end it here. Don't try to make yourself right. Because if you try to make yourself right, it's not nice. Okay. Let's see. Manny Cigars, give him a milkshake, Eddie. Shake and bake. How about this, Manny? How about I meet you at Eddie's barn? Bring a check. Steve Basile, Sunday. Steve Basile. It was me asking how you are. Okay. You know, I got to say this because I chopped him up pretty good. I didn't chop him up pretty good. I explained exactly what he did, and what he did was scummy and bullshit. That's what he did. It was scummy and fucking bullshit. But it's over. It's over. It's like when I was doing the cars. There was this Jewish guy, Ezra Diane. So he says, you want to go to Brooklyn, pick up this car, give you $150, do this. And then he sends me to Manheim, $150 trip. Sends me to Manheim. I come back, I put the slip in, my paycheck comes, 150 ain't on it. So I waited for him the next morning. He comes in, I says, Ezra, come with me in the back of the garage. I'm in the back. I said, let me tell you something. You're worth about $10 million, maybe even more. You have a fucking house on Ocean Parkway that's worth $5 million. You're driving a fucking Maybach. You got all kinds of fucking money, and you want to fuck me out of $100 the Manheim trip? I says, now Ezra, if you say, Larry, I got $100 million, but I want you to drive this truck down to Mannheim because it's a box truck and it can't fit on a carrier, but I can't pay it. I do it. I do, and you know I do it. And if I had to do it every day to help you out, I would do it. But if you don't say that, you better pay me my fucking money. And that's it. And if I throw a punch, my fucking arm might wind up in Secaucus. But I didn't forget how to swing a fucking bat. And that's it. And that's not a threat. But when you're fucking 86 years old, you can't go around with your two fists because there's fucking lunatics out there. So I did, and I have, and I carry whatever I need to defend myself. And that's it. But I promise you, none of that even comes into the picture if you're my friend. And you're my friend. You're my friend. It's just that if we were going for fucking ice cream, I'd have to tell you, you come and pick me up because I'd be scared to drive out there because you may not meet it. But anyway, I will say this. He has a beautiful wife. He has beautiful kids. He has a beautiful house. And he's a good husband and he's a good father. And he supports them well. I think he just bought the house next door to him. And maybe that's why he couldn't come up with the money. Because that house became available. And it's a beautiful house in a beautiful area. And he bought it. So maybe that was the money. But all you got to do is pick up Eddie. You know, this house, I got a real good deal on it. I know we're going to have to hold off on this. That's all you had to say. That's all you had to say. You know, fucking bullshit and nonsense. And that don't work with us. Anyway, that's it. Okay. Let's go. Okay, let's see. 30 minutes between races. It's crazy. Angelique. Hello, Larry, Joe, and Eddie. Hiya.
Hi,
Hey,
Angelique.
hello, Angelique. How are you?
Angel IQ.
Okay. You need to cater to the $2 better. Have 12 p.m. post time, 15 minutes between races and ballpark food, and build that track to millionaires. You know, the funny part is, years ago, probably 1983, 82, something like that. I forget the years. Kadish come over to me and he says, what do you want to do? He says, you have 6 other owners besides me. I'm buying the largest parcel of land in Old Westbury. I'm going to build a house for you on it, a little training track, in a big barn. And I'm buying Roosevelt Raceway. Will you stay with me? And I says, I'll think about it, but chances are. And then he kept making me offers. And when we're in Florida and we go around looking for places, because he owned all the properties, all the Kmarts were on. He says, I'll give you 1% of each property we buy. I'll give you this. I own the largest land, orange grove in Ocala. I'll give you that. And that's the decision I had to make. But before I made that decision, they bought me. Chusky died, and they bought me for life at that point. So
Larry, I gotta go, buddy. I gotta go. I'm falling asleep.
Go ahead.
It's 10
Go.
after 10.
Good night,
All
Eddie.
right.
Hey,
Good
Eddie.
night.
I
Well,
wish you the best on Thursday. I really do.
I'm racing Wednesday and Thursday.
Well, I'm talking with Ronnie's horse, you know.
Oh yeah, well, it'd be nice. You know, it was good. I got a break. I got a 6-horse field.
Yeah,
I'm
you
racing
told me.
I'm racing for 68,000. He's in for 55. If he gets claimed and wins, he comes out with 100.
Man, I hope so. He deserves it.
Yeah, he's a nice
And you
guy.
deserve it too.
Whatever. I deserve whatever's
Well,
in my future.
I really
accept.
hope it goes well for you guys because you're a good team.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, bro.
Yeah.
Larry, thank you for your time and your expertise. I'll catch you in the winner's circle.
Eddie,
I did a
what
couple of
race
pictures
you
for
in?
I'm in the fourth race Thursday.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure I watch it.
Are you
Yeah,
going up there? You going to
yeah.
Saratoga
I'm leaving tomorrow morning. Yeah,
for
I'm
Saratoga?
racing. Yeah, yeah. I'm racing in the seventh race tomorrow night. Tomorrow, and the fourth race Thursday. I'm staying over. So
All right. Good luck.
Is
thank you, sir.
TVG still on, or is it
Yeah,
off the
yeah,
air?
yeah. TVG's on.
Okay, I heard they're done soon, right?
TVG.
That's what they said. The last shows, I think it's September or something.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I heard that a while back.
All you got to do is, if you want to watch the race, you go to
Yeah, I
Saratoga.
know, but I just want to watch it live.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna watch
All
it.
right. All right, buddy. How's your father?
What an ending.
Benjamin's
Huh?
not doing great, Eddie.
Ah, shit. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
All right.
So,
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
all right,
All
man.
right.
Take care.
All right. Good night. Good night, buddy.
Good night.
Hey, listen.
Wow.
Listen. If Manny should show up tomorrow with 50,000, I get 10% of that for the fucking speech I just made.
Well, whatever. But I tell you,
I'm only
I
kidding,
don't.
Eddie. I'm only kidding. Relax. Go to bed.
No. I would give you I would give you 20%.
What happened?
Well, that when he said it, he almost fainted.
Hey, Larry, who's this comment?
What?
I just seen a comment on here. It says, "Hey Joe, I'll see you on the 29th. Laugh out loud. Ha ha ha." Who's that?
I don't know.
Did you see it? That 10:07.
10:07. Where the fuck is 10? Oh, I see. 10:00. 10:07. Oh God, that's all the way down.
Oh, you didn't get that far yet.
10:07. Let's see. 10. Oh, here it is. What's this say? Hi, Joe. I'll see you on the 29th. Laugh a lot. So that's Sundance. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She wants to meet you.
Oh, I thought I was hoping it wasn't one of the old gangsters that I owe money to.
No, that's. What's this say? Sundance say, Larry, I will always remember that bat in the office, your office. When I worked for you, I saw you bring it out twice, and once was for me. I never ever, Sundance, and you know this, I never
Touched a
raised
woman.
my hand or even grabbed a girl in my whole life.
Me neither.
And years ago, there were plenty of girls that I could have grabbed. Not ever once. Always had ultra. That's why I have trouble dealing with girls, because I'm just too polite. When you go into a business deal, and you got to remember that 51% of the businesses are owned by women, and they're probably some of the wealthiest women in the world. And try to deal with a woman that's self-made, and they all have egos and everything else, and they chop you up. And with a guy, you could say, hey, look, go fuck yourself. You can't say that to a girl. You got to sit there and let them fucking tongue lash you. So anyway.
You're right.
Let me go back to here because I don't want to.
I didn't know where you were. I just saw it.
Oh, I don't even know where. Let's see. Okay. Larry, I'll always. Oh, wait, here's something with Manny. The new Gilmont will be. What's this say? Good, Manny. Well, okay, we did all of these. Manny Cigars. What do you say? Those who want respect. Okay, we got to that. You know what would be interesting, Manny? This would be very interesting. Because this thing that you wrote is fucking bullshit. Those who want respect have to give respect. Now, I'll tell you what. I will put up, and I'll go borrow this. I will put up $20,000 that I could probably borrow tomorrow. And I will bring it out to your house.
Get 40 then.
I will bring it out to your house and you put up 20. And only then will you tell me which one of my friends disrespected you. Now that gets to my fucking hot side because it's impossible. There ain't one of my friends that are my friends that disrespected you. So don't put these fucking bullshit things out there so everybody else could see it. Nobody disrespected you. You got to remember, you're the one that jerked everybody off. Nobody disrespected you, including Eddie, who you had waiting at the fucking barn day after day after day that you never showed up. So please, you can't win this argument, Manny. So the best thing for you to do is just stop. We'll be friends. And just know that when you call me and say you're going to do something, it's simple. Just do it. That's all. And stop with this respect bullshit and all the other fucking nonsense that you're trying. Don't try to make yourself right with me. You can't. Okay, let's go. Steve is right. Belmont will be a beautiful. Okay. Belmont will be empty except for Belmont Steaks. The post times are 1:30. Post times 1:30. Driving out there on a weekend from Manhattan. Okay, Manny Cigars. Give him a milkshake. Manny. And the best part is Manny has. I was at their house. Manny brought me there with these Jewish guys, and that was another fucking hand job. I didn't tell them that, but that was another hand job. They were never going to put up the money to buy it, but Manny had a show, make a big show, and here's a trainer, here's this. It was awful show, it was awful bullshit. They had no fucking intent. And I told Manny after that meeting, I said, they ain't buying no fucking horses. I says, and I'm telling you another thing. If they have interest in these horses, buy them out. Construction is your business. These guys are very, very wealthy guys. Leave them out of the horse business and just take care of them. If you want to fuck around with the horses, do it by yourself. Don't. And I told him that 50 times, and I think he knows. Anyway, all is well, Sundance. Okay, that's. I hear Larry complimenting you as always. You're a loyal friend, Steve. She's a good girl. She's a good girl. If she was to tell us what she went through with this cancer, they wrecked her whole fucking body. Her ears, her eyes, her throat, no teeth, her hips, bad. Imagine having 40-something radiation treatments with your head in a fucking vice so you don't move it. 40. Burn your whole fucking throat. Now, she's a good kid. And she has never, ever turned me down, ever, whenever I call her up and ask her something. Meaning watch my dog or, something like that. She's a good kid. She's a really good kid. And it's sad because she asked me for a favor. She asked Joanne for a favor. She wants to go to Wyoming. And she don't have any credit cards. And all she wanted was, let me use your credit card and I'll give you the cash. Well, unfortunately, I lost all my credit cards. In fact, I was just with a bankruptcy lawyer yesterday. You know how much they want for bankruptcy now? $3,000 for a fucking bankruptcy. It used to be $500. Now it's $3,000. But anyway, I can't help it. So I went to, she called up Joanne. I said, call up Joanne. Joanne has 2 credit cards. They're maxed out. They're maxed out. And yesterday when Joanne told me, I feel so bad. I feel terrible that I can't help this girl. I feel fucking terrible. And it's not that she's asking for money. She just says, let me use your credit card and I'll give you the cash because I can't rent the car. I can't do this. I can't do that. And I feel terrible. And these are the things that get me upset. I when somebody is good to you and then they finally ask you a favor out of, it's not even desperation. It's just that she don't need the money. She just needs a credit card to, and I can't help it. So Sundance, I know you're listening. I'm really sorry that Joanne, because Joanne has one credit card left and there's about very, very little money. And she's the one that handles all the bills because I've been in and out of hospitals now for 2 years. So she's the one that handles everything. And it's not easy. It's very, very difficult. And it's not that I don't want to work. Nobody will hire me. I mean, I'm 86 and I would love it. I would love a job, but I feel bad, Sundance. I hope somebody's able to help you. But anyway, I thank you for all you've done for me. There wasn't once ever since I know you 50 years that you ever turned me down. Good girl. You're a good girl. Okay. 30 minutes between races is crazy. Hello, Larry. Hello. Okay, we went through all of this. Go down here. When you can't afford to go to the track to no more, it's over. They're copying Yankee Stadium, selling lobster and steak. We've been on a long time, Joe.
Yep.
What a joke at Yonkers just now in the New York Sire Stakes, 5-horse field, and 4 went off strike. Wow.
That's the way it used to be. I'm surprised that
Wow.
years ago it was like that, but
Should close that place down. Belmont Park believes every day is going to be like Super Saturday. Once the novelty wears off, they'll be down to 1,600 people a day. They're counting on handle attendance doesn't mean anything anymore. Be less in the winter than 16. They'll be, probably. HISA is laughing stock. Their portal was easily broken into by an owner, Marshall. Okay, Manny, I thought they had no doom and gloom. I thought they said no doom and gloom. No, we're not going to talk about sickness and everything else. Manny, I had to straighten that out. I just had to straighten it out. That's all. I straightened it out because I talked to my friend Joe, and Joe said what he said, and I don't want my friends mad at each other. So I says, let me talk to him. Let me straighten it out. Joe's a good guy. No nonsense guy. Joe's the kind of guy, if you call up and says, I need 50,000, he'd go get 50,000 no matter where he had to get it and what he had to do. Okay? That's the kind of guys that I had. And when I got picked up by Joe Murata, who was the guy that helped me cut my Christmas list from 3,000 to 1,100, when he picked me up when I asked to borrow a gun, I was going to rob the bank. He was the one that took me to Angelo's restaurant. And he was the one that says, remember when we were sitting down, we had 300 guests, and you were trying to figure out Madison Square Garden, but where would you fit them? There's not enough rooms in Manhattan and this and that. And the bottom line was I couldn't find a venue big enough where I could house the people. So I called up Bobby Parker, who owned the Concord Hotel. And I says, Bobby, you close every year around Christmas time, between Christmas and New Year's, for a general cleanup. Open 3 days early. I want to rent the whole hotel with your full staff. $900, $1 million, no problem. And I had to cut down 2,000 people. I had to cut it. And Joe Murata took me to Angelo's and says, now all them 3,000 friends you have, and you're on a fucking park bench, soaking wet because it rained that night, get in the fucking car. And I got in the car, took me to Angelo's, and he says, if you had to have a party for all your true friends, all you need is this fucking table here. It was a table for 4. He says, and there might be 2 seats empty. And that's true. So I realized through the years that that's very, very true. Because in reality, if you don't hit hard times, if you don't hit rock bottom, if you don't get yourself in trouble financially,
you'll never find out.
You'll never know who your friends are. Never, ever.
That's right.
And that's why it's so hard. I learned such a lesson that cost me millions and millions of dollars. How the fuck could you give up 7 homes, 100 and something horses, 100, I think it was 101. Sundance knows. I just bought the barn for $1 million at Sunshine Meadows. I had 7 of the wealthiest owners in the world. I was at a racetrack that I wasn't racing at. I had no horses in. I was there as a customer with my mother having lunch after my father died. And one of the kids that used to work for me way back, he saw me in the dining room and he come over to say hello, which was very nice because I hadn't raced in Monticello since '83. They gave me he finally gave me stalls. So what the fuck was I saying? So he come over to me and he says hello to me and everything. He says, "You gonna be here for the last race?" And I says, "I don't know. I guess so, maybe." He says, "Well, if you're here for the last race, bet these numbers." And he gives me the numbers. They fixed the last race trifecta. Now I'm ready to go home. I want to, because I park at valet. All the guys in valet know me for 15 years. I give them $50 and they leave my car right there. But valet is only 2 lanes. So if I'm not the first, in the summer they put the air on, and in the winter they put the heat on. If I'm not first one down there, I block all the valet. So I have to get out of there. So I say, "Ma, come on, Ma, let's go." I pay the check. And my mother completely innocent. But you told that boy that you were going to do something for him. You can't say you're going to do something and not do it. I says, "Ma, it's the last race. You're going to." So, but you told him you were going to do it. "All right, Ma." So I get the paper. I go to the window and I bet, and it hits. Well, 5-6 weeks later, I go there again with my mother, and the security calls me. "We want to see you upstairs." And they says, "This was a bad race. We have the printout. We know we have the television there. This, we have you. That's right. Okay, just tell us who was the one that gave you the numbers." And I wouldn't tell him. And I says, "I'm not going to tell you." He says, you know that a trainer's license and a driver's license is a privilege, not a right. He says, "And if we have an investigation, you're required to cooperate your investigation." I said, "Let me tell you something. These fucking kids that are racing at this racetrack, you make more in one night than they make in a fucking week. And this is your second and third job. You're living on 3 fucking pensions. All of you. You were a fucking chief, second in command to Vinnie Hogan, who's the chief of detectives. You were second in command. That's how you got this fucking job, because Vinnie turned it down because he wanted to live out in Long Island. They made him head of mutuals and head of mutuals and one other thing. And what was I saying? What the fuck was I saying? Boy,
about your friends. You know, you started talking about friends.
So now I leave there and I call up Billy O'Donnell. I says, "Billy, I got barred for life. They barred me. And I have to get rid of all these horses." I says, "There's 30 or 40 of them, I think, at the Meadowlands." I don't even remember really. I had horses. I think I had most of them in Sunshine Meadows in Florida. I hired Fred Bradbury to break all the yearlings I bought. And I left a bunch of 2-year-olds there, and I would rotate them. And he says, anyway, I take the rat. Cost me over $1.5 million for attorneys. It took the profits I made from the 7 homes that I bought, that I had. I get all that money, and all the appeals in 3 different states took care of that money. So by the time I lost all the appeals and everything else, I lost everything. I had nothing. I gave the horses to O'Donnell, who wound up giving him the Teddy Wing because he became a full-time catch driver. Not one fucking phone call. That's what I mean. Prior to that race, all of these kids used to either work for me or knew of me, or I used to give them money like crazy whenever they needed money. They always knew where to come. And then not one of them ever called up and say, "Larry, I'm sorry. No, thanks for not saying nothing," or this or that. Or I didn't expect money from them because they're all fucking penniless. There ain't one guy up there that has any money. Nobody. They're all fucking penniless. Racing like 3 days a week. So it's let me see what Manny has to say here. Uh-oh. Ha ha ha. There are 58 people in here. You guys started talking about the emergency room and 18 left. You're probably right, Manny. That's why we can't talk about that shit no more. Anyway, let's see. Let's go down the list.
You
Larry,
want to hear a story about friendship?
yeah.
When I went to kindergarten, we lived in. I just moved to Long Island, and I walked to the bus stop, and I met this kid. His name was Monty Hirsch, a Jewish kid. His father was a big real estate guy, had the biggest house on the block, a big mansion, 20 acres of land. You know, this was in Long Island, in Roslyn Heights. And my brother-in-law, anyway, through the years, he was my best man twice, and we were friends for 55 years. Okay? So back in the 80s, I believe it was the 80s, my brother-in-law used to have a Ticketron. That's what he used to sell the tickets for concerts and basketball games. Remember Ticketrons?
Yeah.
Anyway, the Rolling Stones are coming in New York at Shea Stadium. So I went to my brother-in-law, says, Michael, I'm going to give you $30,000. Punch out as many tickets as you could for me. And I was going to scalp him. So I give him the money. And I told my best friend about it. And I don't know how many tickets I had. 150. I don't remember. But anyway, his brothers were musicians. And they used to play at all the local clubs in Long Island. So he said, Joe, why don't you give me a bunch of the tickets? He says, and I'll have them sold in a week for you. So I said, okay, Monty. So I gave him the tickets, and he's supposed to meet me and bring me the money, and he never did. It was like $30,000 he had to bring me, and he never did. But I let it go. Because he told me, he says, listen, he says, Joe, I gambled the money away. I went to Atlantic City, and I understood because I did things like that. So I let it go. Not 9 years ago, and I never ever asked him for the money. Okay, 9 years ago. This is so 30 years went by. He's doing very good now. He got a lot of money. His parents left him a lot. He was doing well now, and he had a lot of money, extra money. So I said to him, Monty, listen, they just found out I had cancer. They have to remove one of my kidneys immediately. Otherwise, I got like 6 months left. I says, and I just brought a brand new truck, and I put it under my son's name because I got he had a good credit rating and better than me, and I got, he sort of put the truck under his name in the beginning. So I says, listen, I can't work for at least the next 6 or 8 months. I can't do anything. It's a major surgery. I says, I never asked you for anything, but can you do me a favor and send me enough for like 6 months of truck payments? Wasn't much. It was like 600 a month, 700 a month. It's like 4,000. He says, oh, Joe, I'm sad. I feel so bad. You got cancer, all of this stuff. I said, Monty, I said, I never borrowed you for the money, but my son cares about his credit, and I don't want to hurt him in any way, but I won't be able to work. Do you know he promised me that money so many times? He said, I'll send you 10,000. Well, I asked him was for 4 or something like that. He changed his phone number. He disappeared. There's a guy I know for 55 years. He was my best man twice. Over $4,000 or $5,000 that I asked him for. I couldn't believe it. Like I did everything for him, because I always had money. I always was doing good. And I just couldn't believe it. So when you tell a story about how many friends you got, when you're down and out, that's when you find out.
Yeah. What does this mean, Larry? You're like the guy in the beer commercials. What's that mean? The most interesting man. I don't know.
Oh, he's talking about Dos Equis.
Who?
The guy who does the beer commercial for Dos Equis beer.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
It's a compliment. Well, thank you, Pick
Yeah.
the ponies and pick the pros and ponies. Thank you. Thank you. Come on, man. That's nice. Think it's those. I don't know what that. I don't know what that is.
Which one
Seawall had a
you?
nice horse named Teddy Drone. Yes, Seawall had that was the best horse Seawall had was Teddy Drone. Yeah, he was owned by good guy too. Really, what the hell was his name? I forgot. Yeah, he was a nice horse. Teddy Drone was a nice horse. Yeah, Allen would have been top. If Allen didn't gamble, and Allen gambled every race, every single race, every night. If he didn't gamble, he could have been one of the biggest thoroughbred trainers. But a lot of the owners that came to him saw that in the grandstand. You know, they want to sit with the trainer.
Yeah.
He's
Shy
up there
away.
betting thousands every race, and that's what held him down. But he always had a 30, 40 horse stable. But he could have been really, really big. He helped me a lot. He helped me a lot. He smoked for years and years and years. I raced under his name. Never said a word, never wanted nothing. He was a good guy. Debbie was the sexiest driver trainer in the game. Any stories about Charlie Evil Sizer? Oh yeah.
Larry, I'm going to the men's room. I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, there's a lot of stories about Charlie Evil Sizer. He was Charlie. Charlie was a very interesting guy. He used to call me the shadow. I think was it the shadow? He used to call me something or cool cat or something because we were in a lot of races together and whatever I had to do, I did. And I was, I don't get nervous. I don't get none of that stuff. And that's the nickname he gave me. But yeah, he lost his arm driving his car, his truck, his paddle truck. And he had millions and millions of dollars worth of them horse pitches, them old famous horse pitches. He used to go to a lot of the antique shows, and Charlie was a good guy. Charlie was a good guy, and you're right. Debbie was beautiful. Poor Debbie. What happened with Debbie? She lived, and the parents were pretty wealthy. They owned a couple of golf courses in Ohio, and she begs me to come down there and stay. And maybe someday I'll take a ride down. But she was a good driver, and with harness horses, and if she needed help, she would come right to my barn and ask me, and she did well, and she drove good. She was good. She's a nice girl. Anyway, she used to lay in the sun every afternoon, and they wound up cutting her nose off and part of her face. I guess they reconstructed it because she's on Facebook and she looks pretty good. But she was in bad shape for a while. She had a stroke, and then she had the cancer and the nose and everything. She's a good girl. She's a good girl. Okay, let's see. Grace Napolitano, that's Cookie's sister. That's my other cousin.
That's Georgie's.
That's who?
That's Joe Knapp's family.
Yeah.
Good guy, Joe Knapp.
Yeah. She was married to Joe Knapp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was married to him. He had the trailer right across the street from mine, and he had what's that disease? Lupus. And he died sitting in the chair. I guess nice and peaceful. He died.
Yeah.
He was a good guy.
Yeah, I got really friendly with him in Rockingham.
Yeah. Larry, in your opinion, do you think the gel in your cool cap will have to be replaced eventually, or do you think it will last indefinitely? Well, I know one thing for sure. It'll last for a year. I know that for sure. And I think if you took it after a year and regenerated it, and to do that, all you have to do is put it in the refrigerator and it regenerates. It'll regenerate by itself.
Freezer.
Refrigerator.
Oh, okay.
All you have to do is keep it out of it because it'll always stay at 75 degrees.
Okay.
So it's but you know what I was thinking, Joe? And I want you to think about it because we're going to meet on Saturday. I was thinking about this. We got nobody to make these blinkers. We have nobody to make these blinkers. This company here is the company that has the best, cleanest material. They make it for hospitals. That's what's going to make our blinkers. And I have all here. They send me all of these samples here. These are all the samples they send me. All different stretches.
Uh-huh.
2-way, 4-way.
You got to go with the 2-way, you said, though, right?
Yeah, 2-way. Yeah, the other way is too much. It's too much. So anyway, but the only problem with the 2-way is what happened today. The sensor, he had a burr head pole, and he was trying to get away from the head pole, so he turned his head this way, and the
sensor moved.
Yeah, well, the hood moved the sensor off the skin.
Yeah.
But I says, Tom, we don't need it. All we need is the rectal temperature, which is the core temperature, and the temperature of the brain, which is right underneath this. That's all we need. So
you did it so many times already. You know it works.
Yeah. All right, let's see. What is this here, Larry? In your opinion. Okay. Oh, so you know what I was thinking, Joe? And we're going to talk about this when you get here. What if instead of making the fucking blinkers, you see there's a massive amount of selling points. One is you're going to get blinkers that are made of material that are made in the United States from a company that don't use any dye that's toxic.
No toxins.
No, nothing. So just the material alone is going to benefit. And because it's white, it's going to reflect 99% of the sun rays and everything else. That's a massive selling point.
Yeah, of course.
What happens, but to get to that selling point, you need a lot of money. A lot of money. What if we just figured out how to sell just the heating gel? I mean, the heat absorbing gel. And just create a thing where they can use their own blinkers. And if they want, and all we have to do is put this gel in a capsule that will stick either with Velcro or however into their hood. And the ones that don't wear blinkers, let them just go buy a set of open blinkers that are open.
Right.
Put the thing in it. We got to talk about that. Because if that's the case, we don't have to come up with nothing. We don't have to do anything except just take orders. And that's it. We got to talk about that. Because I was thinking about that the other day.
The only thing they're not going to use white hoods.
Well, let me ask you a question. You're probably right. But you know what's idiotic to me? If you take a fucking zebra, and we talked about this,
yeah,
and you take the heat thing, and you place it 3 inches above the black line, the black stripes, it'll read, say, 100 degrees. Then you just move it a ½ inch over to the white stripe, and it's 30 degrees colder.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So how the fuck could anybody in any business tell me that, oh, I don't use white blinkers, I want black back? Why? Why? So your horse could fucking suffer? So he could fucking suffer? Between the fucking Lasix that you're giving him and the black blinkers, them two things alone would save half the horses that die a sudden death just by eliminating Lasix and eliminating any color except white for blinkers, not counting the heat absorbing gel. So I really believe, and I'm looking forward to it, and I tried to get meetings twice through Eddie. And they kept saying, well, wait till you get farther ahead. Wait till you get farther ahead. Wait till you get farther ahead. Because when I sit with them in person, if I ever get to that point, and I'll let them know, you realize that if you eliminate Lasix, half these horses that die a sudden death won't die. You realize that? Yeah,
of course.
And they have to say yes. And then I'm going to say, I understand you gave $780 million to these, $780,000 to these veterinarians to do the effects of Lasix in a horse. Well, what the fuck you doing? Just call me up. I'll do it for lunch. You know, what are you doing?
You're all right, Larry. You don't got to tell me.
Okay,
We
let's
got,
go
you know, what we got to do. We forgot to ask Eddie about getting in touch with Rapoli.
I asked him. He says he don't know.
Oh, well, we got
I
to
had-
find out how to get in touch with this guy, because he's a
Oh well,
Ross
I'll
lover.
find. So, in fact, I think Don and Dina knows him. I think I'll get him.
Yeah.
But we got nothing to talk to him about because now we may eliminate.
Well, no, don't give up. Don't do that yet.
No, I'm not doing nothing yet. I'm waiting for you to come here to talk about it.
Okay.
Hey Eddie, the horse you claimed at Saratoga for Ron, you outshook our buddy George. Yeah, he says there were 8 claims on that horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Geez, I hope he does good.
Me too. I'm praying for them to do good.
How the fuck do you get an owner like Ron? How the fuck do you get that? With all these scummy people that are out there, boy, oh boy. What a good guy. Eddie, how is the one you claimed off
He
Jack?
really is. Him and his wife are nice, great people.
I never met his wife. You met his wife?
Yeah, we went out to dinner. She's a doll. She's, you know what? She straightened out Ronnie. You know, Ronnie was don't think Ronnie was no slouch. Ronnie was a tough guy, man. I know. She's a good woman.
Okay, let's see here. Larry Cox, Larry ripping Manny in the. No, I didn't mean it. It might have come out. It might have come on like that. But how the fuck how do you sugarcoat something that I said? How do you sugarcoat? Say, Manny, I know that you're a stand-up guy, and I know that you're a good guy, and I know that you meant everything that you said, and I know that for you not to do what you said you were going to do, something had to come up, and I understand that. And you're fuck that. You said it. You're a fucking man, and do it. And if you can't do it because it's a major situation, everybody will understand. But don't say something and don't do it. Not to us anyway. You can tell it to whoever else you want. Not to us.
Listen, let's forgive Manny and see what happens.
We forgive Manny. We forgive Manny. Manny just wanted to know because when I called him, I told you I was going to call him and straighten this out.
Yeah, I know.
And I called him. And I told him, I says, this is the reason I'm calling. I says, we have to have a talk because you did something that you shouldn't have did. And then we got into it.
Yeah.
And he apologized and everything else. And if he stops trying to make himself right, just don't say a fucking word. Make believe that never happened. Don't mention a fucking horse. Don't mention you want to buy it. Don't mention nothing. You're just our friends. And maybe someday we're all going to have a big fucking party or something, and we'll invite everybody and all be friends.
Just leave it alone. You said what you had to say, and let's see what happens.
Right. We'll see what happens. Manny's a good guy, and he's a good father, and he's a good husband. He don't fuck around on his wife. He don't fuck around. The kids want for nothing. Beautiful, beautiful home. And his wife is a sweetheart. I mean, she was cooking from morning till night when we were there. Really nice person. Really, Manny's a lucky guy in a lot of ways. Okay, Larry. Yes, Manny was great in the movie. Yeah, he played me. He played me. I like at the end when my friend Jimmy says, "And next time you come here,
clean yourself up."
Clean yourself up.
Jimmy was really good.
Yeah, that was Jimmy.
Yeah, I know. I said he was really good.
Yeah.
He well, he didn't have to play the part. He knows the part.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. I was me and Manny were the only fuck ups, but Manny played me good. But I was so sick that day. Oh, was I sick?
You did good.
Okay. So it's 2 wins and claim. That's
Eddie's old right?
Playboy folded 5 years. I don't know what they're talking amongst themselves. The 3 guys on the screen are blood brothers. Don't fuck with any of them. No. You know what we are, Larry Cox? We just happen to be 3 guys, the 3 that were here today. 3 guys that are just born in areas and neighborhoods where you fall into situations,
Right.
and then you just kind of it just kind of grows into you. I was a little lucky. I knew early on if I built a little wagon with skates and fruit box and I got beat, I went fucking crazy with myself. And that's how I went with the stock cars, with the roadsters and everything. I'll never forget the first time I drove a stock car. And they draw for positions and everything. It's a 16th of a mile racetrack. And I had a floor shift, but you never leave second gear. You start out in first and then you go right to second because you're only going like 25 miles an hour. But when you let up on the turns, the transmission, the gear shift level, it shakes like this and it'll pop out of gear. So you had to put a screw eye in the dashboard. When you get it to second, just lock it in the screw eye so it don't ever bounce out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying to myself, you know what? The next straightaway, I'm going to fucking come to the outside and floor it. And when everybody comes to the turn, they all let off. I'll be flying. And I did, but I flew right into the fucking wall and then I got crashed by everybody. But after that, my car was all smashed up and this nice guy come over to me. And he says, are you all right? And I said, yeah. And he told me what to do. He says, you have a Dodge there. It was a 32 Dodge or something like that. He says, they have hydraulic shocks. He says, fill the outside shocks with oil. Take all the oil out of the inside shocks. So now the car is sturdy on the outside and down on it. He says, then unbolt the body on the outside and put shims in them. Now you got a fucking car where all the weight centrifugally force is all on the inside.
Right. And it takes the turn.
Yeah, and then I won almost every race after that. But he was a nice guy for telling me that. But I love that. I fucking love. I really want to be a Formula race driver, and because I was working with the cars and dealing the cars when I met Mike Foley, and that's when I went with the horses. Yeah. The only reason I went with the horses was because I had a fucking garage full of trophies and blankets and no money. And then when I found out that you could race horses for money,
yep, it's basically the same concept with horses. You shoot them according to the turn.
Hi, hey Joe, I'll see you on the 12th.
That's the one. Yeah,
Larry, I will always remember that. Look, let me get something straight here. I got to get something straight. I'm not a tough guy. I'm not a wise guy. I'm not a fighter. I'm not. You just have to be respectful. You got to be respectful. You can't fucking bullshit. And if you say you're going to do something, just fucking do it. And there's a lot of heavyweight guys out there, that old timers, that feel the same way. In fact, there's the thing going around that when, in fact, my friend is making a movie about Russell Buffalino.
Oh yeah,
he comes here all the time, and his whole thing in that all them old timers, if you're on time, you're 10 minutes late.
Yeah,
and basically that's how.
That's the way they think.
Yeah, that's the way they think.
That was old school guys, man.
You say you're going to be here at 7 o'clock. You better be here.
6:45.
10 minutes to 7. Yeah. Okay, let's see, Larry. I will always remember. No, to protect me. Oh, she's saying that I had the bat to protect her. Back then, I didn't need a bat. I had Joe Guarlino on my speed dial. Okay, don't worry about it, Larry. I will always work it out. I had a great teacher. Oh, yeah, I guess she's talking about that. I'm really sorry, Trish. I can't help you. I wish I could. I can't. It bothered me all fucking last night, and Joanne too. But nothing you can do. Every once in a while, everybody hits a tough spot, and what are you gonna do? It is what it is. Richard, I pray for all of you. Thank you, Richard. Larry, you bought the bat out to protect me. No, I didn't. Okay, that's it. Joe, that's it. I'm getting tired now.
Well, I tell you, I see a big difference in you, Larry. You look great. You
We
went
did-
for almost 3 hours.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Good
No,
for
and
you, man.
I'm gonna fix this.
You got, I think that conversation we had that night is a big part of it. I really do. What?
I hope so.
Yeah,
Hope so.
yeah. So,
That would be nice. I rejoin my mother and father.
I'm not, that's a guarantee. That's a guarantee. I'm talking about your health getting better.
Oh,
It's a part of it.
yeah, but
That's promised. That's guaranteed. As long as they believe like you did, you're in.
somebody wrote something. I got to find it now. But somebody wrote something to me about Marty Tannenbaum. That Marty Tannenbaum never went to jail. He never did this. I got to find that fucking thing. He sent me an email. Yeah, a guy calls me up because he says, you said Marty Tannenbaum robbed you from Yonkers and he went to jail and this and that. Marty Tannenbaum was so fucking politically connected with the Democratic Party.
Yep.
He had New York locked up. He had him and his brothers. He had brothers. And they got away with fucking murder. Now, maybe they didn't spend time in jail, but they should have. But it was a very strong political connection and a lot of fucking money. And that's it. So I'm going to find out. I got to remember who the fuck sent that to me. Who sent that to me? And then I'm going to try to get him on a podcast. Because if you look up Marty Tannenbaum's record, he was a real fucking scumbag. A real bad person. Bad person. Owned the racetrack, had his own fucking... it was terrible. I'm going to find it. I just remembered I got to find it.
Don't let them get your blood boiling.
No, it's over. But I did send. I didn't know he died. But when my father died of a broken heart because of him, that's when I sent 3 of my friends, go find him. Just go find him and bring him back here. They said, we'll take I said, bring him back here. You know what a pleasure I would have if I had that little 38, just put a bullet in his ankle, one on the other ankle, one on the knee, one on the other knee, one on his wrist, one on the other wrist, and say, okay, this should make us say, oh, well, let me just give you one in the shoulder.
Couple of my elbows.
Yeah. That's what I would love to do. Some people really deserve it. And I'm not a violent guy, but when you're a fucking scumbag and you hurt men, women, children for no reason at all except for personal gain, you're a fucking scumbag.
For sure.
You can't lose I always believed this. And I was probably 17 years old. And one of the wise guys up in Corona, this was before when the Corona Dukes were up there, and this was before Parkside, when Tough Tony was the up and coming guy. We were like 16. He's the same age as me. He died.
Mm-hmm.
He was the same age as me. Right down the street, there was another clubhouse with the older guys, the older mobsters in the Genevieve. And the boss there was Corky. And Corky told me, he says, what the hell did he say? I forgot. I just had it. He gave me some real good advice. You know, like always show up and always this, always that. And I'd have to tell you, I lived through that. Not by myself, but I seen what that poor Jerry Silverman went through. Oh my God, what that poor kid went through. And he was a good guy. Jerry Silverman was a good guy. He was a good trainer. He had Romeo Hanover from the time he first started.
Yeah.
And he never bought. Everybody loved him. He was a really good guy, but he had a degenerate gambler just like me. We had a terrible habit of betting. And we both stayed at the Trade Winds Motel for a year.
Trade Winds, man.
We lost a lot of money. And one day, if you remember the trade winds,
Yep.
come down the
Come
Jerry.
down the hill on Yonkers Avenue.
I come down from up the second floor. We used to go in the office. They have donuts and coffee there in the office, and we used to meet there. So one morning I come down, and Jerry's packing his car. And I says, "What are you doing?" He says, "Larry, I got to get out." They had the other kid who died. Gary Baker. They had him there. They took that other kid, Larry, that was with him for forever.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "I'm going to California. Please don't tell anybody where I am." I said, "I'm not going to say nothing to nobody." He owed Tony Carubi about $50,000-$60,000. He owed Monticello Raceway close to $100,000 because of me, because I got let Susky. And he owed a couple of other people. And he, like me, he only I had more money than him in the beginning. So I was able to lose $1 million before I got in trouble.
Yeah.
He didn't have the backing.
At least you had a history of paying.
Yeah.
He just took a shot from the beginning,
and something very, very scary happened to his kid. They went up to his apartment. He lived on the 5th floor. Some scary shit happened that night. I don't want to say it because the kid's still around. He's a good kid, and but you can't do that. You can't, and nobody, and you know how he got, and good for him. He went to Florida. He stayed there for 10 years. When he came back, he called me up. I says, "They're all dead. Carubi died. Susky died. Everybody you owe is dead." I says, "I heard you're doing good." He says, "Yeah, I met the guy or the woman that invented the ballpoint pen." He says, "I got this, I got that." He says, "I'm coming to Florida. I got permission by Van Lennep to build a 100-stall barn." He built a 100-stall barn on the training side at Pompano Park. 100-stall barn. And he come in with a bunch of horses. And then he got into the Meadowlands and everything and never had to pay a quarter. I paid everybody. In the same amount of time, I went for millions.
Yeah.
He just got lucky. I almost got in a little trouble because Tony Carubi says, "I know you know where he is."
Wow.
But he says, "I know you know where he is, but I'm going to respect you.
Yeah.
You got to pass." But just remember,
because you live by principle, and it's their principle too.
Yeah.
The real guys.
So I says,
not to rat.
I says, "Tony," I says, "I don't know where he is, and I don't know. I really don't know where he is." Meaning, in my mind, what's his address? I knew it was in California,
right.
But I'm not going to say no. He goes to California to buy a racetrack. But I just says, "Look, Tony, I think if I knew, which I don't, I couldn't tell you anyway." He says, "I know." No, I said, I never had a problem with Tony Carubi because even when I didn't have the money, I'd show up. Tony,
yeah, that's the whole thing. Me too.
I need a week.
I got yelled at and hollered at and screamed at. I just gave you 50,000 4 days ago. Oh God.
Anyway, that's it, Joe. It's 11 o'clock already. 9.
It's 11 o'clock.
3 hours. All right, I got to do another one tomorrow with these guys coming up. Anyway, Joe, I wish your father the best. I hope he gets better every day, and I wish you the best. And thank you for coming on and staying. And to all our friends out there, keep these cards and letters coming in. We're gonna change this whole thing around. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Talk about a lot of. And if you have any pictures that you want to talk about, meaning winner circle pictures that have a good story behind it or anything, just email them to me. My email address is larryrolla123@gmail.com. That's one straight, no spaces. larryrolla123@gmail.com. Email me them pictures and then text me that you email the pictures so I look for them and I don't miss them. And then if you want to come on and talk about it, just send me your email address, and when we're on, I will send you a link, and you can come on, and we'll make this into like one big party, like everybody talking about the best stories that they got. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. But we're gonna have to speed it up a little bit. All right, Joe, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm gonna see you Saturday. I can't wait for that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I'm
buy
looking forward to it.
Super Sod.
So I was just gonna say, buy some supers.
I'm gonna get Super Sod, Italian salami, roasted peppers, nice Italian bread, and we're gonna make an Italian hero with all the Italian cold cuts and roasted peppers.
It sounds good.
So in fact, they just made them today, and I bought a big fucking thing like this. They'll stay in the refrigerator till Saturday, right?
Yeah, they're in the oil, right?
Well, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna leave them I got them in a big container, and I'll leave them like that. And Friday or Saturday morning before you get here, I will go to the store. I'll buy some real nice Italian bread, and we'll have a nice Italian lunch. Me and you.
Don't go crazy. I mean, just
I'm not gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it, Joe. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Good night, everybody.
I'll see you. Now I had a special song that I'm gonna play. I don't have it up yet. I don't have it, but I have a special song I'm gonna play, and it's called "Old Bones." And
we got them.
We got it. But next time I come home, I'll have that all done. I got to get a hold of Shaman. I couldn't do too much today because I went to Monticello. All right, Joe, I'll see you.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Joe.
Take care.
Okay, now, let's see. How the hell do I get out of here now? I'll just say good night because I'm tired. Good night, folks. See you. Tomorrow, I'll have three harness guys in here. I don't know where the hell they're going to sit, but they'll be here. So tune in tomorrow, too, and we'll see you. And then Thursday, we'll be back. And every day, I'm going to try to get more and more pictures up. I'm just learning how to do this. Okay. Good night, folks. Horse racing, both thoroughbred and harness, is the largest spectator sport in the United States. More than baseball, football, basketball, and hockey combined. Each year, billions of dollars in purse money is distributed between the two divisions. This docu-style series, The Winner's Circle, will end with $1 million race called the Winner's Circle Pace, created only for this series. It starts with this little guy and ends in the winner's circle. During this time, we'll follow the lives of 5 of the most talented and successful trainers in harness racing. We'll witness the dedication, the challenges, and the disappointments, as well as the thrills, excitement, and rewards associated with buying, training, and racing their equine athletes. Our first stop is Pennsylvania for the November Harrisburg Standardbred Horse Sale, where each of the 5 trainers will purchase 3 standardbred yearlings. To be eligible for the $1 million Winner's Circle Pace, each yearling must be a pacing bred colt with a purchase price not exceeding $100,000. We'll interview each trainer pertaining to their yearling selection and then watch as each trainer inspects each yearling being considered. The following day, viewers will watch as each of the 5 trainers bid for the yearlings they selected against other trainers and buyers from all over the world. Viewers will witness the tedious and dangerous job each trainer has as each yearling is being broke to the harness and training gear for the first time. They will also view the real-life tragedies that sometimes occur as these yearlings become aged racehorses. The focal point of each episode will be the daily challenges that each trainer faces while preparing each yearling for their first race.
When we got him here at the farm and we started working with him, I mean, he was so small. I mean, I didn't have a harness to feed him. We had to have 3 pads underneath. And
from this point, the show will progress based on the racing and training schedule of each horse and each train. Every phase of the trainer's job will be viewed, including his talks with owners, grooms, and the driver of his horses.
Better horses win the big races, so I feel good that I'm bringing one of the better horses to the post.
He's going into the race as good as he possibly can, and with a good post and a sharp horse, that's all you can ask for prior to the race.
She just got kind of tired, I think, last week. Her head got down, she got a little lugging in, and she tied up a little bit. So I think
along
that's
with
why
the
she made
yearlings,
great
we will follow the daily racing of the age racehorses that are a big part of each trainer's stable. An added attraction for these viewers will be the ability to legally wager through an online betting account on their favorite horse as they watch the race in real time. On race day, all 10 two-year-olds are brought to the race paddock at the Meadowlands racetrack to warm up for their first lifetime start against each other. As they approach the starting line, the wings of the gate open, and once again we hear the announcer's words,
And they're off!
Then in less than 2 minutes, the race is over, and the winner is brought to the winner's circle for the trophy, the celebration, and the $1 million check.